Hello everyone! Welcome to another stream of Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. We're still in this third case. It's been a long journey with this case, kind of. And... wow, laptop. You are so cool right now. Alright, I can't see chat at the moment. But yeah, last time was crazy. Maya's channeling someone right now from beyond the grave to rust in me. We think it was him that killed the one guy, Praise a lot. And yeah, we're gonna see just what the heck is going on with this case. Who's the real murderer and who killed it who? And things are getting really heavy right now, really heavy with this case. And I want to know, like, why do you think he felt something heavy? I want to know why. He's not telling me why. So, let's continue on, guys. Here we go. Why do you think he felt something heavy? You said the hideout looked like it did in this photo. So, if there's nothing that would lead you to believe he had experienced a heavy feeling... And I'm actually going to do this real quick. Give me a second. No one's here right now. People are missing things. So it's fine. Don't worry. Just don't worry. Well, people will get in soon. Just don't worry about it, okay? Yeah, okay. I'm in my chat room. I'm going to get out of my chat room now, and I'm going to go back to the guide, because I'm a big noob and I use guides. Okay, if so, there's nothing that would lead you to believe he had experienced a heavy feeling. Hey, Mafia babe, you're first. How you doing? It's good to see ya. Mafia babe, are you ready to finish this case once and for all? 'Cause I know I am. Hey, look, Mafia, look, it's Maya. She looks very different today, huh? You're alright, doing laundry, and you're ready. Awesome. Let's do this, eh? The fact is, of course, a stone slab did fall over onto Acolyte Zealot, impaling him on the warbed statue behind him. But that was only revealed through her benevolence's divination seance earlier. Will the defense please get to the point? My point is, simply hearing a crashing sound shouldn't have automatically led him to conclude the victim was crushed to death. I still don't see your point. I'm saying that the High Priest knew. He knew how the victim was really killed. Why? And that is information only the real killer could have known. I definitely saw it that time. I've got the High Priest's spirit shaking in his boots, or should I say, sandals. Need I remind you, Abbat Inmi was with his majesty at the time of the crime. Such an alibi precludes him from being the killer. That's true, so he can't be the killer. However, he knew how Zealot was killed, something only the killer could know. Can this discrepancy be resolved somehow? Hey Kamek, what's up? How you doing today? Well, Mr. Wright, we're waiting for an explanation. I was just getting to that. Time to think of something quick. The High Priest knew something only the killer could have known because... Because why? The answer is... he heard it from the real culprit. You're doing good? Awesome. He must have heard how the victim died from the real killer. The real killer? Of course. That makes perfect sense. I don't want to believe it, but this is the only possible explanation. So tell us, who is this real killer? It's gotta be someone close to the High Priest, someone without an alibi. The person most likely to be Zealot's killer is... Well, this is it, Mafia babe. Who do you think is Zealot's real killer? Who do you think it is? I gotta say, this answer is going to stun you, and too bad Captain Chips is not here to see it, but oh well. But yeah, who do you think it is? Is it Albie your guide? It's Albie? Oh man, it's Albie. No, sadly, you have no clue. Well, I hate to say this, Mafia Babe, but the real killer, I believe, is... Believe in me.
Take that!
Your Majesty, while you were visiting the High Priest's home, you didn't see Mrs. Inme at all, did you? No, I never saw her, but what does that have to do with anything? Did the High Priest ever leave your sight? No, we were talking the entire time, and the food was brought right to the room's entryway. So, the High Priest had an ironclad alibi. But his wife does not. What the devil are you insinuating? I'm insinuating that Mrs. Inme might have killed Acolyte Zealot.
Objection!
You have a lot of nerve making such baseless allegations. She has no motive to kill Acolyte Zealot. He was like family to her. No. We can't entirely discount the idea. Especially if you consider that Mrs. Inme could have been the one posing as Lady Kira.
Objection!
Even a fool must temper his foolishness at times. Or do you truly believe Lady Kira would kill Acolyte Zealot, though he was not a rebel?
Objection!
Yeah, did you see that one, Mafia Babe? Did you see that one coming? As we all know, the High Priest was secretly a rebel. It would follow that his favorite disciple could very well be a rebel too. Are you suggesting that Mrs. Inme killed her husband as well? As sad as it is to think she'd kill her own husband to rid the kingdom of rebels, I don't think we can rule it out. It makes sense. Whoa. Erk! Yikes! You claim my wife is that rebel hunting Lady Kira? And that she slew both Zealot and myself? My lovely wife? That is utterly impossible! Erk! Yikes! I have never seen the High Priest so angry. It is as Abbot Inme stated, and the accused has already been found guilty of his murder. It is far too late to overturn it. That's right, Mr. Wright. Now apologize to the good priest before he gets angry again. Quickly, now. No, I'm not going to apologize. The true identity of Lady Kira is a major piece of this trial's puzzle. Admit it, Abbot Inme. Your wife, Lady Inme, killed you. Hey, Captain Chips. Hey, Captain Chips. Want to know who the murderer is? It's right there. Admit it, Abbot Inme. Your wife, Lady Inme, killed you. The killer is now the wife. Believe in me. Hey, perfect timing. I know, right? But, what's up? Yet even now you continue to lie in an effort to protect her. How absurd. It appears the lawyer has forgotten. My lovely wife cannot possibly battle the rebels in the guise of Lady Kira. For we were blessed by your holiness, and she is with child. Praise be to the Holy Mother. I completely forgot about that. That abominable Lady Kira figure who slew me and Acolyte Zealot was the accused. This is bad, but I can't give up now. Don't forget, my client doesn't have the strength to fight rebels either. How could a weak young woman like her possibly... You foolish oaf of a lawyer. If only you were as blessed as Lady Inme. What? Surely the accused possesses the strength, or should I say, the power. The power to battle those black-hearted rebels. What are you talking about? My good prosecutor, I see you have come to the same conclusion as I. Such keen insight. Then you have figured it out as well, Abbot Inme. May I ask you to explain it to this putrid-brained lawyer? Certainly, for I cannot allow him to frame my lovely wife for murder. Horrid devil! Your Majesty, allow me to testify as to how my affair is the murderous Lady Kira. Well, if it would assuage your anger, then by all means, please testify. Acolyte Faye channeled Lady Kira's spirit. She is a spirit medium who knows Lady Kira's true name, so she could have done it. So it was the real Lady Kira who returned to the root out the rebels among us. She attacked and killed me with a strength far beyond any mortal woman. But... Do you understand now? Murder by spirit channeling explains everything. That is the only way the accused could have defeated one rebel after another. Indeed, I am a living, or should I say, dead proof of her terrible power. Ag! Maya's ability to channel spirits. It's come back to haunt her. Now, is it not time to let it go and move on, Defense? No, never. I'll never give up. Now what? Think. How can I prove that Maya can have channeled Lady Kira? Well, we just have to go to the second statement. Save the game in case things go wrong. And then present the Tomb of Secrets.
Objection!
First thought, Lady Kira isn't her name? Probably not. Definitely not. The Tomb of Secrets is only given to the priestess who performs the purification rite. Is this your proof that my client could have channeled Lady Kira? Yes, indeed, for it contains the true name of Lady Kira, a secret only revealed within. Abba in me. I'm afraid you're mistaken. This couldn't have been used to channel Lady Kira. What nonsense! Mr. Wright, would you care to explain? This is why my client couldn't have channeled Lady Kira. Give me a second. Hey, Foursquare. How's Talisker doing? Talisker's dead, Foursquare. Nah, I'm joking. He's fine. He's surviving.
Take that!
But how are you, though? How are you? Lady Kira's face is hidden behind a mask in the Tomb of Secrets. You need both a name and a face to channel a spirit, and to write the name in the death note. It can't be! Without a face, it would be impossible for my client to channel Lady Kira. Not good. What's going on? Hey, Stars! What's up? Good to see you, too. Oh, my. Therefore, the claim that she became Lady Kira by means of spirit channeling is patently false. Basketball is dumb? Oh no. Are you watching basketball? And is it dumb? Gah. And with Lady Kira out of the equation, my client had no motive to commit murder. But then, who is the rebel hunting Lady Kira we've been reading about in the paper? Yes, who is this other suspect, if indeed there is one at all? Let us hear the defense's brilliant deduction. Think! The true identity of Lady Kira is the key to solving both murders. I thought Mrs. Inmee was suspicious, but her pregnancy takes her out of the running. And Mr. Our Rebel is a rebel, so that doesn't make sense. That leaves us with... Mr. Wright, you have that look again. The one where you know you have to say something, but you can't figure out what it is. This is my chance to really turn up the heat. I'll just have to stir the pot till something floats to the top. Your Majesty, I know who's been posing as the rebel hunting Lady Kira. You do? Are you sure about that? Yes, completely. The Timber Pups are not good anymore? Aww. Rest in peace, Timber Pups. Retire well. Or get better members? I sense that I may regret this, but please go on and explain. Thank you, Your Majesty. This is who's been posing as the rebel-hunting Lady Kira. The truth is, it's Albie. Yeah, it's been Albie this whole time. No, I'm joking. It's, this guy.
Take that!
The true identity of the rebel hunting Lady Kira we seek is... Pare Zealot! What's this? The High Priest's murdered disciple was Lady Kira, you say? Peace. I say peace. The defense will continue. Yes, Your Majesty. I whittled down the list of suspects until there was only one left. But a process of elimination is not the same as solid evidence. I assume you have evidence to back up your claim. Yes, of course. I will have some in a moment, that is. At least I hope so. Maya wasn't Lady Kira, and neither was Mrs. Inmee or any of the other possibilities. That leaves Zealot, and I have the evidence to prove it. And that proves Acolyte Zealot was posing as Lady Kira is this.
Take that!
This is what proves that Acolyte Zealot was Lady Kira. Lady Kira's warning letter. How absurd. What could that possibly prove? Prosecutor Sadmati, you stated that this warning letter proved that my client was Lady Kira, and the reason you gave that was that the High Priest's house was locked tight. But there was another member of the family who lived there. By the way, guys, today's May 12th, right? The same day as in this game. Isn't that kinda eerie and spooky? This could be happening right now. Ah! Therefore, Acolyte Zealot could have delivered the warning anytime he wanted. I know, right? What is he talking about? It's just not possible! Oh my. Yeah? Yeah, are you saying Lady Kira was not the culprit, but rather the victim? That's exactly what I'm saying. But that would overturn the entire premise of this case. This trial has proceeded on the assumption Lady Kira was behind the serial killings. But if Lady Kira is one of the victims, who was the killer, and what was their motive? The only suspect left is Mrs. Inmee, and there's only one possible motive. What if Mrs. Inmee is a rebel? What? Fiend, you're still bent on casting suspicion upon my lovely wife? Blasphemer! You have no evidence of this. Repent for the mistrust in your soul.
Objection!
Well, you have no evidence either. After all, the dagger was my client's prints on it wasn't what killed Acolyte Zealot. And the Plum Punisher theme that he heard could have been an alarm clock. That means all of the evidence linking her to the crime have been called into question. Hey Hiyori, Mint, how you doing? Yeah, Foursquare, there's a dagger. Let's see. There it is. There's the dagger. As a sword. It's a sword, yep. There's your dagger. Drink up. Ha 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 ha. Her. Was Lady Inmee a rebel, and did she pose as Lady Kira to kill Acolyte Zealot? Or was Acolyte Zealot a rebel, and was the accused the Lady Kira who killed him? I would say either scenario is just as likely. What are we to do now? The alarm clock, you say? Do you mean the one in the rebel hideout? Yes, but what of it? So that's it. What's gotten into him? How about Inmee? Just what is so comical? Forgive my outburst. That has simply tickled my funny bone. What did? The theme song came from the Plum Punisher clock, you say? That alarm could not possibly have gone off. What makes you say that? The clock was working just fine the last time I checked. Try using your head for a change. Would not the existence of a secret hideout be given away if an alarm kept going off? Wait, you don't mean... Indeed, we leave the alarm switch off at all times. No! You know what I like about this game? I like this view. It's very nice. Shows the whole courtroom and the big pool in the middle. And I like that. And that's my compliment of the game! Woo! I hope you like... I hope you like that, Mint. In that case, I am sad to say that the defense's claim does not hold water. Would you care to respond, Mr. Wright? Oh, this can't be happening. Not now. This should put an end to the lawyer's futile struggles. The theme song the victim heard was from the accused's strap, just as we suspected. Therefore, the accused is the rebel-hunting Lady Kira and the victim's killer. Need an opening, something I can raise an objection to. The Flum Punisher theme song Acolyte Zealot heard in the final moments. I too heard it by the way of the listening device. But did you really? If you had heard it, why didn't you testify to the fact before? Is it not obvious? I did not know such a tune could become a key matter of dispute. Yes, the matter of the theme song came up before Abbot Enemy was channeled. Oh, right. Well then, what if he's lying about the clock's alarm being switched off? Miserable wretch. That would be a pointless lie, uneasily disproven. If you check the clock, you will see that the alarm is, in fact, switched off. Hard, come to think of it. What a fine item. And the switch, if I'm right... we've set the switch back into the off position before we left. I remember hearing it clearly. Those distinctive taiko drums in the intro are etched in my mind. They went... dun 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 dun. Distinctive taiko drums in the intro? This trial has gone on far too long. Shall we move ahead to the verdict, please, now? By all means, and let us also return Abba Enmi's spirit to the Twilight Realm. Before I go, let me say a word to my darling wife.
Objection!
Now hold on just 1 minute. Your Majesty? Yes? The High Priestess' statement is inconsistent with a certain piece of evidence. It is? Still you writhe in defiance of your fate. The very sight reminds me of a tortured soul writhing in flames. You won't be saying that once I show you the evidence. Now all I have to do is pick the right one. This piece of evidence is inconsistent with the statement about the taiko drum intro. It's the strap.
Take that!
This is what's inconsistent with this statement. My client's plumbed Punisher strap. What does it have to do with anything? It plays the Plum Punisher theme song, and here it is, the theme to the Plum Punisher Warrior of Neo Old Tokyo. Okay. Anyone hear any taiko drums? Do you see what I mean? The music the victim heard in his final moments might not have been the Plum Punisher theme song. I'm afraid I am not following you. What was it if not the Plum Punisher theme? In his final moments, Acolyte Zealot heard... the Steel Samurai theme! There are no taiko drums in the intro of the Plum Punisher theme, so what Acolyte Zealot actually heard in his final moments was... the theme of the Steel Samurai Warrior of Neo Old Tokyo. The Steel Samurai helping us out even now. Peace, 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 I say. Mr. Wright, what is the Steel Samurai of which you speak? The Steel Samurai Warrior of Neo Old Tokyo is an action hero show from America. The Plum Punisher theme is a total it's very similar to it. If you didn't know about the Steel Samurai, you could easily mistake the two. But the fact that Acolyte Zealot heard music from an American action hero show is irrefutable evidence that the accused was in the secret hideout. Actually, no. You have it backwards. But backwards? That's right. Miss Faye met an avid Plum Punisher fan here in Karatin, and as a token of their friendship, she traded a certain Steel Samurai item she had for the Plum Punisher strap. And And this avid Plum Punisher fan was the one who killed Acolyte Zealot? Yes. And that avid fan is none other than the High Priest's wife. Believe in me. Do you have evidence to back up this claim, Mr. Wright? For as forgiving as the Holy Mother is, I doubt she would tolerate yet another dose of your baseless slander. I suggest you prepare yourself to face Her Holiness's wrath. Oh, I'm prepared to turn this entire case upside down, that is. This is my last chance. I better take a deep breath and review the evidence. Very well, then. Please present your evidence, if you would, defense. The evidence that proves Mrs. Inmee was the one who killed Acolyte Zealot is this. The save button. It's the family photo. It's right here in the family photo. Proof that Mrs. Inmee and Miss Faye traded items featuring their favorite characters. A family photo. And what exactly should we be looking at here? The proof that they exchanged items featuring their favorite characters is right here. It is right there. Look at Mrs. Inmee's left wrist. You can see the Steel Samurai trademark top knot right there. Which clearly makes this the Steel Samurai watch. Why, I never knew your wife had such hobbies about Inmee. This family photo was taken right before Acolyte Zealot was murdered. By that point, my client had the Punisher strap and Mrs. Inmee had the Samurai watch. So what the victim heard in his final moments was none other than the sound of the watch Mrs. Inmee was wearing. I wish to amend my testimony. What I thought were taiko drums was something else. My wife had never had such a watch. It's the truth I tell you. You must believe me, your majesty. Be not deceived by the defense's lawyerly chisenary. Now what? He's been pretty quiet up to this point. What does he have up his sleeve? There is a big gaping hole in his flimsy claim. A big gaping hole? I don't think so. Oh no, I'm afraid it is there, alright. Just like the big gaping holes in your putrid brain. My brain is neither putrid nor full of holes. I'm not a zombie after all. Heh, says the dead lawyer walking. He who is narrow of vision focuses on what is before him, never seeing the big picture. Or as they say in your country, you cannot see the forest for the trees. For if it is as you said, and Lady Inmee, the rebel, slew Acolyte Zealot, the rebel hunting Lady Kira, then the rebel hunter would have been dead before the High Priest was slain. Ah, that means the High Priest could not have been slain by the rebel hunting Lady Kira. Ack, how could I have missed that? So tell me, who are you going to say killed the High Priest now? No! Do you finally understand the sheer size of the holes that riddle your putrid brain? Ack, I'm in hot water now. I don't have any other suspects in the High Priest's murder. You mindless zombie, you should have begun your journey into the Twilight Realm long ago. Now let it go and move on. No, I will never give up. I just need to think things through and figure out who really killed the High Priest. Here we go again. If Acolyte Zealot had been Lady Kira, he couldn't have killed the High Priest. So the question is, who did? Maybe I can get to the bottom of this by reviewing the events of this case in order. What evidence could tell me something about the crime scene before the murder? It's this. The spring was stained red before the rite. Oh, right. Maya said that the spring had been stained red before the rite even began. The spring was already red before the High Priest's murder because of... Oh, the spring was stained red by Zealot's blood. That's right, Zealot had been killed in the rebel hideout the day before the rite, and his blood had flowed into the spring. Wait a second, the High Priest knew that Zealot had been killed in the hideout, so why didn't he report it to the authorities? If Maya had been the killer, she could have easily have arrested her on the spot. Why didn't the High Priest inform the authorities right then? He wanted to keep the hideout secret. If he reported Zealot's murder, the authorities would find out about the hideout. That's what he was worried about. But by going through what was the rite, the High Priest risked having Maya see the spring running red with blood. Why did he have to go through with the rite? Did he want to... use the rite to cover things up? He wanted to set up the crime scene and conceal his hideout. But how was he planning to conceal the source of the blood in the spring? Stain the spring with his own blood! He concealed the source of the spring with his own. That was how he kept the rebel hideout a secret. It's all starting to fall into place. I know who killed the High Priest. It was... Who could it be, guys? It's... Tara's death was a suicide! I can't believe it. The High Priest took his own life to keep the rebel hideout a secret. The High Priest wasn't murdered by anyone. I know, right? Dun dun dun. He took his own life to keep the rebel hideout a secret. What? What? What's this? The High Priest committed suicide? I have never heard anything more absurd. The lawyer had placed a stain on the good priest's death with his putrid brain. Its putrid gaping holes are as large as the holes in his logic. What hole? You still fail to understand. You truly cannot see the forest for the trees. You claim the High Priest took his own life. But have you considered who brought the dagger to the Plaza of Devotion? After the High Priest was killed, the dagger was thrust into Acolyte Zealot's dead body. Only the accused, Maya Fey, could have done that. It is as Prosecutor Sadmari says. Your claim is rather porous in its logic. Your evidence is too weak. You cannot prove that the High Priest took his own life to conceal the rebel hideout. They're right. The dagger was impaled in Zealot's body, but his body had been placed at the plaza the previous day. Well, Mr. Wright, would you care to respond? Zealot's body was already in the plaza the day before the rite, but what if the dagger was also already in him at that time? The dagger was never at the inner sanctum. It was a different weapon. Of course, that's it. What is it? There was no need to move the dagger. It had already been stabbed into Acolyte Zealot's body the day before the rite. What? So, that means... What does that mean? It means the dagger wasn't the weapon that took the High Priest's life. But no weapon was ever found at the inner sanctum. If you will not listen to reason, then I insist you prove your assertion. Show us what you believe was the real murder weapon, what the real murder weapon to be. The real weapon? I've got nothing, but I know there had to have been a weapon there. Maybe if I think back on the trial thus far, I'll spot the clue I need. Well, would the defense care to tell us what the real murder weapon is? This is what really killed the High Priest. The save button! Who would have thought? It's... the statue! What really killed him had been at the inner sanctum all this time. The save file killed him? Yep. Save file is the real killer. And he left lethally had already been demonstrated by the late Acolyte Zealot. That's right, it was the Warbid statue. Po-po-po-po-po-po! Pokunka! You believe that the statue claimed both the victims' lives? Would you care to chime in, Abbot in me? Naga. No, he lies. Pay him no heed. Oh, why, it's... Lady in me. Darling, don't you think this has gone on long enough? Balib, no! Your Majesty, my wife knows nothing. Please, Abbot in me, let your wife speak. Now, Lady in me, please continue if you would. It's that time again. And what time would that be? 2:30 in the afternoon, the time my husband conducts his daily prayers, and the time Pere was slain. It's Steel Samurai time. But that sound, it's the Steel Samurai alarm. I too like to pray at the same time as my dear husband. So I set an alarm to remind me each day, but I had no idea it would come to this. No, stop. She knows not what she speaks. Your Majesty, I am the one who slew Acolyte Zealot. Drag! Abbot Enemy? Bailiff, summon a physician at once. The physician is now attending to the high priest, so there's no need to fear. Now let us continue. And what about the half of him called Maya that's still among the living? Mrs. Enmy, will you tell us everything you know? The truth is, I am a rebel, just like my husband. The tragedy unfolded before the Wright during the Feast of Blessings. I'd gone to the rebel hideout to prepare it for Death's escape. And that's when Acolyte Zealot suddenly appeared. Yes, Pere was shocked when he saw me there. Acolyte Zealot did not know you were a rebel? I do not believe he did. I believe he was there simply to investigate the hideout, and then he suddenly came face to face with Mrs. Inme. So the true identity of the rebel hunting lady Kira was Pere Zealot. Yes, he was a member of the secret police, serving directly under the Minister of Justice. The secret police? And this is what he said to me. I can kill rebels with impunity. The Justice Minister has my back. He was using his position within the secret police to deal us rebels a heavy blow. But murder sanctioned by the Crown is still murder. Heh, even without the DC Act, Dirk and his insurgent scum buddies' days are numbered. What's that supposed to mean? Let's just say, I got a little trick up my sleeve, so I watch it if I were you. Cause you got a defiant attitude like one of them dragon dupes. The trick up Minister Inga's sleeve was Lady Kira. No, this can't be. My father would never. This must be a bolt out of the blue for Rafa. This explains why Acolyte Zella abandoned his real name. Yes. He even went as far as covering up the tattoo that all Karenis clergy members receive. Lady Kira was a member of the secret police? It explains why no order was given to investigate her attacks. I guess I'm not alone in hearing this for the first time. But, this cannot be. Is this true? The Justice Minister is a sanctioned state of sponsored murder? Peace. Now, Lady Inme, please continue. Pere suddenly lunged at me. That's when I pushed the stone slab toward him with all my might. But I never meant for what happened next to occur. Allow me to take it from here. Abbot Inmi, are you sure you're all right now? I am sorry you had to see that, but you need not worry about me. I am already dead. Please, we need to know what was so important that you would take your own life. After I learned that my wife had accidentally slain Zealot, I chilled his body with snow to make it seem as if he died more recently than he did. Then I later moved it to the Plaza of Devotion and inserted the dagger into his wound. The plaza was empty at that time, for it was before prayer time had started. Finally, I placed his body in the prayer pose, knowing that no one would notice anything was wrong until the rite had concluded. It is perfectly plausible that no one would disturb him if he seemed to be praying. We do treasure our prayer time, after all. So, you admit you tried to pin this crime on Maya Fey? Yes, this was all my doing. I never told my wife of my plan, for surely she would have tried to stop me. How did you get Mrs. Fay's fingerprints on the dagger? I had her hold it while we were rehearsing the rite the day before. Right before the rite, I drugged her with a sleeping agent. Then I put Lady Kira's robes over the Warbid statue. That means Maya was probably already groggy by the time the rite started. Finally, I ended my own life, to ensure that the crime would appear to have been by Acolyte Faye's own hand. But when your body was discovered, Lady Kira's robes were on the ground. How did they end up there if they were on the statue? After I impaled myself on one of the statue's dagger-like feathers, I used the last ounce of my strength to hurl my body backwards. As I did, I grabbed onto the robes, taking them with me, as I fell back onto the ground. How terrible! What possessed you to do such a thing? You needn't have committed suicide simply to frame the accused, Prosecutor said Madi. As one well-versed in our kingdom's legal system, I would expect you of all people to understand. Understand what? This kingdom's legal system, Mrs. Inmi's crime, your suicide? It can't be. That would be sadder than sad. Why, I believe the defense knows of what the High Priest speaks. Yes, I finally understand. This explains why the High Priest took his own life. Just in case things are wrong, it's the law book.
Take that!
Give me a second, guys. Come on now. Okay. The Defense Culpability Act. Circumstantial evidence supports Mrs. Inmi's killing of Acolyte Zella in self-defense. However, it would be next to impossible to prove it without a lawyer. That's why the High Priest wanted to pin the crime on Maya Fey. I fail to see what that has to do with his suicide. In Karatin, the divination seance is the most important piece of trial evidence. The High Priest wanted to frame Miss Fey as a serial killer. It was a clever plan in which he made sure he had seen Lady Kira in his final moments. The lawyer speaks true. That is why I placed Lady Kira's robes upon the Warbid statue. I made it seem that Acolyte Fey was the rebel-hunting Lady Kira. But, are you saying you used my divination seance to produce false evidence? Forgive me your benevolence, but it was the only way to help my lovely wife. If you had approached me first, I could have proved that the murder was in self-defense. Perhaps, but I had little faith in lawyers despite being a rebel. Give me a second, guys. How utterly foolish to cast away one's life for such a reason. There must have been other ways to cover up the crime. Yet had I done so, my wife would rush to my defense, and when the case went to trial, she would suffer the same fate as I under the Defense Culpability Act. I could not have lived with myself had she been convicted because of that fiendish man. This cannot be. All I have done under the laws of our kingdom, it has all been... Poor Rayfa. She's really taking this hard. But I can't say I'm surprised. Mr. Phoenix Wright, it is time to show the might of your legal prowess. You mustn't allow another innocent soul to be charged under that despicable law. Of course, I'll do whatever I can. What I have done to you and Acolyte Faye is unforgivable. I can only offer my most humble of apologies. Your Majesty? Yes? I ask that you please look after my wife. You have my word. Your benevolence, it is time that I return to the Twilight Realm. The Magatama of parting, if you please. Very well. All right. Your benevolence, please allow me the honor. Yes, it would be more fitting for you to send him on his way. Mrs. Inme. Darling, I'm so glad I was able to see you one last time. Thank you for everything. I'm sorry to leave you like this, my love. But now you can watch over me from that world beyond. Yes, always and forever. And with every breath I take, my darling, I'll be thinking of you. Hey, Impatient Kid, what's up? Welcome to the ending of Case 3 of this game. How you doing? It's kind of a tragic end. A very sad ending for sure. Apparently that little gem can undo a this, you know? You're good. We meet again. We meets again. There he goes. Aww. Farewell, my darling Tarust. Welp. The High Priest has returned to the Twilight Realm. Maya! I feel great. I guess that means he didn't leave any regrets behind. Oh, but what about the trial, Nick? It's over. It was a sad reality born of love and a great tragedy born of the Defense Culpability Act. Well, I see no need to continue this trial. Does the prosecution have anything to say? Mr. Phoenix Wright. I owe a debt to you, one that I will pay back in court someday. Now to deliver today's verdict and overturn that of yesterday's trial, with respect to all current and previous charges against them, I hereby declare the accused Maya Fey and her defense Phoenix Wright not guilty. Yay! Case 3 is done, guys. Maya Fey is clear of murder again. Again. How many times was that now? That was your own stream, by the way, Impatient Kid. Did you win any mores? Well, I'll pose the question, guys. This makes for... I would ask, where would we put, Trust in Me and Believe in Me on the Kill This Man list, but I don't think they belong on the list. Only because she hasn't been here for the last 2 games. Yep. 3 more. Well done. You're good. But, I guess my question would be, where does the Defense Culpability Act, whatever that act is, where does that belong on the, Kill This Law list? How far does that go up? You don't think so? A 10? The Defense Culpability Act, that's it. Where does that go on the Kill This Law list? So I was thinking, Nick, the legal system here is really stacked against the defense. It's totally unfair. Yeah, it even forced the High Priest to make the ultimate sacrifice just to protect his wife. The fact, not the act itself, but the guy with the cigar definitely belongs up there. Oh, that guy. The Inga guy. Yeah, he definitely belongs up there for sure. It's just so sad. Protect the status quo or join the revolution. If the real Lady Kira were here, I wonder which side she would take. Your benevolence? Huh? What? I was just wondering. Are you alright? Quiet, you. How could I possibly be alright? Yeah, she's not doing well at all. Who do you think you are, so suddenly appearing before me, trampling my insights underfoot and plunging the Hall of Justice into utter chaos? You even desecrated my mother and father's teachings, you soulless infidel. Oof, that was a bit more extreme than usual. What am I to do? I had always believed that communing with the victim's Mitama would lead me to the absolute truth, but each time you overturned my insights, it was revealed that they served to support false charges, rather than the truth. I am left now with that heavy truth in my heart. I'm sorry, Reifa. Perhaps I am not worthy of hearing the voices of the Mitama. That's where you're wrong, your benevolence. What? Maya! How dare you! Your role is to bring forth the voices of the Mitama into our world. If you don't do it, who will? You know nothing, Maya Fey. It was spirit channeling, not a divination seance that brought the truth to light. How dare an outsider like you employ the Queen's secret art? But what can I do? My spiritual power does not even approach yours. Is it not a cruel joke? The royal priestess bested by a lowly outsider? Don't be so hard on yourself. Why not? It is worth at least a laugh or two. You shouldn't talk like that, huh? Listen, your benevolence. You were just fulfilling your duty, weren't you? And you're the only one capable of performing the divination seance, right? The station of royal priestess is not something to abandon lightly. The station of royal priestess? The people of your kingdom believe in you, but if you really mean all that you just said, then what are they supposed to believe in? You know not of what you speak. Actually, I kinda do. After all, I'm only here training so I can become the master of my village back home. A village master, you say? I did not know. It seems I owe you an apology, for even today I called you a neophyte practitioner. It's all right, your benevolence. Thank you for finally acknowledging me. A future queen and a future village master? I guess it shouldn't be a surprise, considering they may have had a common ancestor. Maya's right, your benevolence. But Barbed Head? Your insights were a crucial piece of evidence in the last trial. Doesn't matter if they weren't always 100% accurate. You should be proud of what you did. You played an important role in assuring that justice was served. And besides, your insights aren't the problem here. It's your kingdom's legal system. Without lawyers, your insights have come to be accepted as a sole truth. And the Defense Culpability Act, which gave rise to that, is the root of it all. But that is a dangerous thinking of a rebel. Your benevolence. As crown princess, you are destined to rule this kingdom one day. That means there will be many things that you alone must determine. Things like how to keep your people happy and what is true and what is false. And most importantly, what role you must play therein. Wonder if I am even up to the task. Knowing you, your benevolence, you're more than capable. I've never heard Maya talk like this before. She's really come a long way. Boom! What was that? It came from the hallway. Smoke! We better go check it out. Hurry! Mrs. Inmee. Mr. Wright, Acolyte Faye, I'm so sorry for what transpired. You were almost sentenced to death because of me. Oh boy. I will make amends by picking up where my husband left off. I will see the revolution through, so nothing like this can ever happen again. For that is the death of my love for my dearly departed husband. Lady Inmee, we gotta hurry. That voice, is that Mr. R. Rebel? I must tell the people. They must learn that the peace we enjoy is a false one. One built on the backs of innocents charged with false crimes under that odious DC Act. We have it in our power to forge a society in which the law judges all of us fairly. Hey there, PW. I wish we had more time to talk, but... Dirk, everything's ready. It's go time. Dirk? Oh. Wait, was that the rebel leader Dirk? After him! Don't let him get away! The power to forge a society in which the law judges all of us fairly. It's the start of a legal revolution. Wow, Nick, that's scary. Hey, Nick, hate to bother you while you're lost in thought, but I just got this great idea. What is it? The Steel Samurai versus the Rebel Dirk. I bet it'd make for another awesome TV show. If we threw the Plum Punisher in there, everyone would go nuts over it. I'll never get what she sees in those shows, but it's good to note that no matter what happens, Maya will always be Maya. Gotta love Maya. And that is the end of Case 3, guys. Whew. And now it is time for everyone's favorite part of the Phoenix Wright streams. The update on what Disney movie I watched last night. Woo! You love her. I know. Last night's Disney movie was pretty dang good. It's about a big city with different biomes in it, like a Sahara, a rainforest, and a frosty biome, and it was really, really cool. And like, I wish I could explore a city like that in real life. And also, there were no humans. It was all animals, most of them in human clothes. It was like a zoo, like a big topia, like a zootopia. But yeah, that's what I watched last night. I saw Zootopia. You love Zootopia? It's your favorite? Oh, it's one of mine too. It's been one of my favorites that Disney made for like the last 10 years. So many good characters. You watched it a week ago? Nice. That's awesome. But yep, that was last night's. That was the first in Volume 3 of my collection. And now to case number 4. Turnabout Storyteller. This case is a filler case, by the way, but it's a good one.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. What time is it? It's 9, 10, 11.
Huh. Shisho's dead? No. Do you think he did it? Oh no. If he did, then well, what do we do? Hey, pull yourself together. Don't worry, I have an idea. I like the topic of zoos. The topia of the zoos. May 13th. That's tomorrow! Woo! What the heck? Hey guys, remember that, you know Phoenix and, Apollo, right? They're good lawyers. Remember, that third one, that Athena girl? This case is pretty much, hey guys, Athena exists. Let's use her one last time. And I'm actually gonna save the game real quick, and I'm going to go to the main menu super quick. Filler case of Apollo and Athena doing their thing? No Apollo. Give me a second, guys. I'm just gonna quickly... Oops. Okay, here we go. What was I doing? Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Athena and someone else doing their thing. What the heck? Who brings a defendant to his own trial late? Plus, the request was so last minute I didn't even have a chance to talk with my client. He's late for a very important date. No time to say hello, goodbye, I'm late. My name is Athena Sykes. Armed with analytical psychology and a full arsenal of legal know-how, I'm a fully competent defender of the Wright Anything Agency. Though I wish my client would show up already. The trial's about to start. Heh, it appears we made it just in time. Where have you been? The trial's about to start, Simon! You needn't get so worked up, Athena. His baldness can wait. There's no way he'd wait for me. And besides, why would I want to start off on the wrong foot with him right out of the gate? Remember this guy, guys? I think you remember this guy. Dealing with such matters is part of being a lawyer, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, well, covering for your lateness is not. Still but a rank amateur, I see. Goddamn Blackwell. This is Simon Blackwell. He might not look it, but he's actually a prosecutor and a psychological specialist. He and I go way back. As for our shared specialization in psychology, we're both disciples of the same person, so to speak, but he's kinda my senior, I guess. But a twisted sense of humor or no, I wish he'd stop treating me like a child all the time. So, where are Wright Dono and Justice Dono? Mr. Wright is abroad and Apollo is helping Chusi with their magic show. Didn't I tell you? They're what? So neither one of them are here, leaving you to take this on alone? Yep. Ye gods. Call Wright Dono back. It's not too late. Oh no, not too late at all. He would only need to know how to teleport. Tisk. Very well. Then I will settle for Justice Dono. Go grab him by the horns and drag him here. Apollo is literally in the middle of a show, Simon. You may not want to admit it, but I've got what it takes to take on this case. Just leave this to me and go watch from the gallery. As your defense derails in spectacular fashion. No, as I win the heck out of this trial. I'll be okay, promise. Swipe that look off your face already, will you? Anyway, I take it the guy behind you is... Yes, he is your... Tisk, he's asleep again. Hoy, Bucky, wake up. Yeah! Ow! What'd you do that for, Simey? Who's this yeller chickadee? She is your lawyer, such as it were. I'd say she's more green than yellow, however. Lawyer? She sure doesn't look like it, does she? Is she, like, your fellow apprentice or something? Heh, something like that. I've known her longer than I've known you. You could say we're bound to one another. Oh, okay. Well then, guess I better call her Ms. Chickadee then. Simon, this guy's not only rude, but he's 3 sheets to the wind at his own trial. I know we just met, but I'm about ready to give him a piece of my mind. Do as you will. Just save it for after the trial. Miss Chickadee? Don't call me that. How'd you do? Simon here's an old friend of mine. I'm the 4th generation head chef of Wet Soba. Wet Soba? How do you say that? Wet number 4, Bucky Wet. Nice to meet ya. It's nice to meet you too, Mr. Wet. Is it like wheat? Wheat? So he can pull himself together when he wants to. Grrr, if only the trial wasn't starting in a few minutes. Having been accused of a murder that only occurred yesterday, I'm afraid it's taken a toll on the poor boy. And you happened to be there at the theater when it all happened too, right? They say they found a Rakugo storyteller murdered in his dressing room. Indeed. The victim, master storyteller Taifu Tornado, was a longtime patron of Wet Soba. Master Tornado had been looking after Bucky ever since Wet Noodle number 3 passed away. I see. So the victim was kind of like a father to the defendant, huh? That stupid old fart. Like a father? No way. He was always dishing my soba. Dishing. How dare you speak ill of him? Running your mouth like that is why they suspected you of his murder in the first place. Now, pull yourself together. Number 3 must be rolling in his grave. But, Simey... The police, none of them believes me. They won't listen to me. Sniffle. Looks like he's still in shock from the whole ordeal. Don't worry, Mr. Wet. Everything is gonna be all right. I'm going to defend you with everything I've got. You're in good hands now. You mean, you believe me, ma'am? Of course. No matter what, I'll believe in you to the very end. Gee whiz, Miss Chickadee. Now come on, I need you to shape up, just like those al dente noodles of yours. Yeesh. Oh, yeesh, ma'am. My soba is the freshest. Mr. Wet! Bucky, you great big pillock. So, how exactly do you know this guy? I used to frequent Wet Soba, and still do, in fact, so I've known him since he was a lad. That's why his father and Master Tornado were always so good to me. Am I saying that last name, by the way, guys? Tornado? Is that right? I didn't know you liked the soba so much, Simon. I wouldn't expect one such as you, who eats meat slapped between slabs of bread, to understand the delicate taste and the subtle textures imparted by buckwheat flour. Tornado? Okay. Is that how you say it? Hey, that's just rude, but I digress. I'm all about flavor and subtlety and stuff. If I let wet soba end like this. And yeah, is it wet or wheat? I think it should be. Okay. But yeah, is it pronounced wet or wheat? Wet? Okay. Gotcha. Wet soba end like this. I'll never be able to face number 3 or Master Tornado in the next life. Ah, I see. And that's why you came to me. You wanted somebody you could trust. It was never my intention to ask you. Grrr. I'll show him I can handle it just fine. Well, I believe it's just about time. What? But we haven't even properly discussed the case yet. What's the matter? You look nervous, Athena. Don't tell me you chickadeeing out. I'm just trembling with the excitement of battle, that's all. Off gets. Let's do this! Come on, Mr. Wet. Get up off the floor. We've got a case to win. Yes, Ms. Chickadee, I'm gonna do my best.
Wet soba, wet soba, wet soba, wet soba, wet soba.
Well, there you go. That's how you say it. Good night, Mafia Babe. See you hopefully tomorrow. Bye. Hello, 2 bowls of noodles? Sorry, sir. No can do. Kinda busy at the courthouse. Huh? They hung up. Okay, let's do dish. What do you think of this guy, guys? He's not going to do himself or his case any favors like this, Simon. Maybe we should let him go get some rest somewhere. Let me rest? Maybe if I were a lump of regular flour dough for udon noodles. But I'm fresh like my soba, and you don't let soba dough rest. So it's all about the 3 freshes. Grind the buckwheat seeds fresh, cut the dough fresh, and boil the He's blacked out. Oh boy, I just knew something like this would happen. Simon, what are these 3 freshes of soba he was talking about? First, buckwheat seeds, or groats, as are ground to make buckwheat flour. Then dough made with this flour is cut with a large rectangular knife into noodles. And finally, the buckwheat noodles are boiled. Each step is done immediately, one after the other, so that the soba is fresh when eaten. Oh, so that's what he meant. I wouldn't want him to make me any soba right now, though, that's for sure. Athena, this is no time for idle chatter. You need to get into the courtroom, now. Just remember, as a prosecutor, I will be unable to lend you a hand. So don't expect any help from my quarter. There you go, treating me like I'm incompetent again. For your information, I wasn't planning on asking you for help anyway. Grr, just you wait, Simon. I'll show you. So who's the prosecutor, then? Mr. Wright and Apollo may not be here, but that's all right. I can do this on my own. Who could the prosecutor be? It's... Court is now in session for the trial of Bucky Wet. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution is fully prepared, Your Honor. It's him again? One of the Pain Boys again? Maybe Clavey? Nope. It's Sadmati again. What's this? No prayer this time, Prosecutor Sadmati? That is correct, Your Honor. To expedite these proceedings, I completed them beforehand in the lobby. How very thoughtful of you. By the way, what brings you back to this country? Chief Prosecutor Edgeworth himself called on me to handle this case. Besides, I have a debt to repay, and though my opponent is yet a callow thing, I have no qualms with sending her down to hell.
Objection!
If you have a score to settle, it's with Apollo, not me. But no, more importantly, I am not a callow thing. I'm a qualified and capable attorney. Then what is that yellow attire if not proof of your immaturity, you small spring chick? She's not wearing a yellow thing, though. She's wearing an orange thing. Now cease your shrill chirping. Now, Prosecutor Sadmati. She is still only a teenager. Please go easy on her. Great. Now even the judge is giving me the kid treatment. I thought now would be a good time to break out the DLC costumes. Very well. Shall we begin, Your Honor? Yes, I suppose we should. Now then, Prosecutor Sadmati, please give your opening statement. I'll show them what I can do. They'll be sorry they underestimated me. Certainly. Let the last rites of the victim commence. The incident is believed to have occurred at around 4 p.m. yesterday, May 12th, at a storyteller's theater called Kurukuru-te. The victim was a great master of the Tornado School of Rakugo, or comedic storytelling. His name was Taifu Tornado. The scene of the murder was the theater's dressing room. It is accessible via the staff entrance hallway and has an inner and outer sliding door. The estimated time of death was between 2 p.m. and 5 p.m. The cause of death is suffocation, though how the victim suffocated is yet to be determined. The autopsy found nothing unusual in his lungs or stomach, and there is no murder weapon. I will now submit the incident report to the court. Okay. Found with his face thrust into a large soba bowl. Suffocate with soup? The soup killed him. Death by soup. Prosecutor Sadmati, how can you name Mr. Wet as the culprit when you don't know how the victim was killed, or even what with what? While it is true that the weapon and precise method are as yet unknown, the accused is the only one who had the opportunity to commit murder. I will explain this assertion in further detail as we continue. I guess this means he has some kind of evidence to present. Now, would the accused care to plead his case? Come to think of it, where is the defendant, Miss Sykes? Sorry, Your Honor, but I'm afraid Mr. Wet isn't feeling very well and is resting in the infirmary. Surely it is the lack of a clear conscience that impedes him from facing this court. Great, starting off on the wrong foot already. Mr. Wet is the head chef of a soba shop frequented by the victim. On the day of the incident, Mr. Wet went to the theater at the victim's request. Taifu Tornado was a connoisseur of soba, as you can see in these photographs. He was apparently making soba himself in his dressing room that very day. He was not watching the screen and didn't realize she was wearing the maid outfit. Yep, she's wearing the Trabian maid outfit. And wait till you see what Phoenix and Apollo got, by the way. The soba him found at the scene is likely the soba he himself made there. Liking soba is one thing, but making it in a theater dressing room's a bit much, none? Master Tornado truly had a passion for soba, didn't he? How do you say that N-E-I part? That's the part that's kind of throwing me off. Yep, Trabian uniform. For a man like that to be murdered by a soba chef is truly unthinkable. And yet, the accused had an ample motive, for in the victim's safe we discovered the deed to the accused's shop. Mr. Wet was to inherit Wet Soba when he lost his father recently. However, it is believed the victim stole the shop's deed during the transfer process. It's pronounced Tornado. Do? Tornado? Is that how you say it? The prosecution believes the accused killed the victim in order to get the deed back. A murder over the deed to a shop. That does sound like a plausible motive. Tornado, fine, whatever. Okay, gotcha. So it's like tornado. So that's what this case is about? I wish Simon had filled me in just a little better. I could have contributed more than just 1,000 buckets of cold sweat if he had. Defense. From your demeanor, I gather you know very little about the details of this case. Well, you see... You are dishonoring the soul of the victim by appearing in the courtroom unprepared, and dressed like that. You are an embarrassment to your profession, you putrid egg yolk. Eek! I'm sorry. Apollo's a red pepper, and now I'm an egg yolk? You've only just started, and I'm already been demoted from spring chick. I am ready to call my witness, Your Honor. Let us listen to the words of one who was present when the crime was discovered. Someone who was there when the victim's body was found. Very well. Witness, please take the stand. It's... Oh boy. Witness, please state your name and occupation. Simon Blackwell, prosecutor. Prosecutor Blackwell? You didn't tell me you were going to take the stand. There simply wasn't time. What a shame, Prosecutor Blackwell. Had you shared the damning scene you witnessed beforehand with the defense, we could have moved this trial along and saved the victim's soul that much faster. Damning scene? What in the world did Simon see? Prosecutor Sadmati, was it? Before I give my testimony, there's something I'd like to confirm. By all means. This case involves Rakugo, a very traditional form of Japanese comedic storytelling. Do you have enough knowledge of this art form to handle the case competently? Are you implying that I am not qualified for this case? Not yet. I am simply trying to ascertain your familiarity with the topic, for now. It is a prosecutor's duty to learn the background of any case he takes on. I did some research on Rakugo last night and have grasped the overall idea of it. How much could you possibly grasp in a single night? Rakugo is a form of entertaining storytelling that originated in the land of Japan. It is the storyteller sits alone on the stage, only a fan and a towel as... And the Rakugo artist tells long whimsical stories, giving each character a distinct voice. This traditional art was originally invented by monks to make sermons more interesting. Are you satisfied? If not, I could explain the 12 types of endings to such stories. Or shall I perform the famous story of Judgmu instead? Ugh, it appears you have put in a bit of study. Your acknowledgement is most welcome, Prosecutor Blackwell. I can see why you are known for being quite thorough in your research, Prosecutor. Now, I would love to see you perform that story you mentioned, if you don't mind. If that is your Honor's request. Judgmu. Judgmu! Your Honor, could we please get back to the trial? Oh, right, of course. I nearly forgot. Seriously, of all the things for you to forget. Ahem. Now, then, back to the case. Prosecutor Blackwell, please tell this court what you witnessed. Well, here we go. I went to the theater yesterday and arrived at approximately 4 p.m. I went straight to Master Tornado's dressing room to say hello. Bucky went into the dressing room thereafter, only to come storming out a while later. Master Tornado's junior disciple, Uendo. Is that how you say that? Uendo? Apparently then entered the room soon after. That's when Uendo discovered Master Tornado's body. Now wait just a minute here, Prosecutor Blackwell. With testimony like that, you're practically accusing Mr. Webb of the crime. All I can do is state what I saw. I can't help how it appears. But a qualified and capable attorney such as you should be able to dispatch it with it, right? Well, yeah, duh. All right, I guess I'd better start by getting all the info out of him that I can. Cross-examination. I went to the theater yesterday and arrived at approximately 4 p.m. Prosecutor Blackwell, what did you go to the theater for in the first place? I went because I had received an invitation from Master Tornado. Here, see for yourself. It was a special show commemorating his junior disciple Uendo's promotion. It was also an occasion to announce the boy's succession to the stage name of Uendo II. So what exactly does it mean to succeed to a stage name? You really don't know, do you? In the performing arts, a name succession is when an artist inherits a predecessor's name. I see. So there was another Uendo Rakugo artist before, and this disciple succeeded him, huh? And what exactly did your invitation say? It contained a simple letter of salutations and an outline of the show's programs. Oh, it appears Taifu Tornado was going to perform Toki-soba, or Time Soba. He's famous for his masterful pantomime of eating soba using only his fan as a prop. And Uendo was to perform Soba-sei, or Soba Glutton, a soba-themed show, I see. It seems you know a thing or two about Rakugo yourself, your baldness. The first to perform was the senior disciple Geru, followed by Uendo, and lastly, Master Tornado. Okay. Invitation added. I see. So that's why you happened to be at the Storyteller's Theater yesterday. So what happened after you arrived? I went straight to Master Tornado's dressing room to say hello. And how did Master Tornado appear when you said hello to him? I went with the intention of greeting him, but ultimately we didn't actually meet. You didn't see him? Why not? Geru escorted me to the dressing room. Well, we heard the sound of Rakugo being performed from within. Thinking the master was rehearsing, we decided to wait in the hall until he was done. You heard Rakugo being performed in the dressing room? Yes, not just me, but Geru as well. In other words, you can confirm that the victim was still alive at around 4 p.m.? Correct. I couldn't hear him clearly through the doors, but I'm sure it was Master Tornado. I could tell because it was the Time Soba routine being performed in there. So that means the victim was killed sometime after that. Bucky went into the dressing room thereafter, only to come storming out a while later. Please tell us in detail how Mr. Wet appeared at the time. Geru and I were waiting in the hallway for Master Tornado to finish practicing, when Bucky appeared and entered the dressing room with his things. What happened after that? We heard what sounded like Bucky shouting inside the room. About 10 minutes later, Bucky came back out of the dressing room, looking rather irate. This is most likely when the murder was committed. The victim was an elderly man. It would have been entirely possible to kill him within the span of 10 minutes. Arrgh, I better come up with some kind of counter-argument and fast. Master Tornado's junior disciple Uendo apparently then entered the room soon after. What do you mean by apparently? Didn't you see him go in? No, I couldn't. I was able to see the dressing room from where I was standing at the time, but Geru was right in front of it, so I'm sure she saw it all. I see. And why do you suppose Uendo went to the dressing room anyway? He had just finished his routine, so he was making a courtesy call. A disciple is to pay for their master's respect right before and after each performance. And all disciples are expected to do this? Yes, it is common courtesy among Rakugo artists. I see. Could you tell us what happened after Uendo went into the dressing room? Certainly. That's when Uendo discovered Master Tornado's body. And how did Uendo act at the time? After Uendo had been in the dressing room for 2 or 3 minutes, we heard a scream from inside the room and Uendo came flying out. Did you hear any signs of a struggle at that time? No, just a window's woeful scream. I see. Well done, Prosecutor Blackwell. Your testimony has given us quite a glimpse into the secrets of events. Thank you, Prosecutor Blackwell. And now, please allow me to summarize your testimony. While Prosecutor Blackwell and Garu were in the hallway waiting for Master Tornado, the accused came along and entered the dressing room with some items in tow. He was heard shouting for a time inside the dressing room, and about 10 minutes later he came back out of the room seeming rather angry. A short time after the accused had come and gone, Uendo Tendo went into the room. A few minutes later, after having discovered the victim's body, Uendo gave a scream and came running out into the hallway from within. Prosecutor Blackwell and Garu then ran into the room and saw the body for themselves. Okay. From the circumstances, it is quite clear that the accused murdered the victim. This is a crucial testimony indeed. Kill. Defense. An eyewitness has given conclusive testimony. Why not let it all go now and allow the victim to his last rites? Not on your life. If Uendo went into the dressing room too and was the first to discover the body, then who's to say he didn't commit the crime? Uendo was in the dressing room for a mere 2, perhaps 3 minutes. He could not have possibly committed murder in that time, nor without making any noise. Oh, Simon, why did you have to give that awful testimony? Prosecutor Blackwell, can't you give me something a little better to work with here? Isn't it up to you to ask the right questions? I am certainly willing to tell you all that I know. So if you truly are as capable as you claim, then draw out what you need yourself. This is no time for your twisted games, Prosecutor Blackwell. Just admit you don't remember it all that well. Prosecutor Blackwell, watching you collude with the defense like this, I see that you are no prosecutor. Begone, witness, you shall haunt the sacred hall no more. How dare you treat me like some evil spirit to be exorcised? I'll remember this, you blackguard. Don't worry, Prosecutor Blackwell. I've got this. Would I have my way, he would not be the only one here to step down. You, half-boiled putrid egg yolk. Ew, I object to the notion that I'm a gooey, smelly mess. Prosecutor Blackwell's testimony was like the lowly opening of a Rakugo show. He may hold the title of prosecutor, but this time he stood on the side of the defense. To restore balance to this trial, I would like to present an actual witness for the prosecution. And who is this witness? The person who was with prosecution. The person who was with Prosecutor Blackwell was when the body was discovered. She is another entertainer of the Tornado School, Miss Garu Tornado. All right. Oh my gosh. Please state your name and occupation, witness. Hello, everyone. I'm here to represent the Tornado School with a twisty twist. And balloon! There you have it, a stunning balloon hat. It's me, the balloon artist you all know and love, Garu Tornado. Just call me Garu, sweetie. 1, 2, balloon! Yep. We have this to deal with now. What a way to capture your audience's attention. I dare say I can't take my eyes off those balloons. Please tell me you're talking about the hat, Your Honor. Oh, Mr. Judgy, I'm so glad you liked my performance. Would you consider joining my fan club? Pretty please. Oh, absolutely. And please save your fanboying for after the trial, Your Honor. Anyway, Garu, I can't help but notice you seem awfully cheerful for having just lost your master. You remember a moment when the internet was a little nuts over this one? Well, now you're witnessing the nuts of this girl head on. Of course I'm sad, but Shisho would scold me if I didn't put on a big smile. Never show sadness. Smile, smile, smile with the twisty, twisty twist. Twist, twist, twist. And balloon. There you have it. One gorgeous cake. I see. I guess an entertainer's gotta do what an entertainer's gotta do. Her balloon art's worse than a Rorschach test, and all I saw was a severed monster head. Garu, you're obviously a balloon artist, so how did you come to be a member of a Rakugo school? Well, my father, my late father that is, was a Rakugo artist, you see. So I joined the tornado school just to be like my daddy someday. I see. My father and I owe so much to Shisho, our master, but that Bucky Wet. Oh, how could he? Want to see him pay for what he's done as quickly as possible. Your distress is entirely understandable, and my condolences for your loss. And not only that, but he... You have more to say about Mr. Wet? Every time he comes to deliver soba to us, he yells at me. He always tells me to get away. Is there any reason why he would say such a thing to you? He says the smell of my perfume will get into his soba and ruin it. Like, how can he say that? This is a great scent. How very rude of him. I don't blame you for being upset. Excuse me, Your Honor, but please don't let Garu's balloons bias your judgment. Mr. Wet hasn't been proven guilty yet, remember? It will be interesting to see how long that fire of yours will last, Defense. Now then, Garu, please share the truth with this court. Yes, Garu, your testimony, please. From 4 p.m. to a little after 4:20 p.m. when Shisho's body was found, Simon and I were standing in the hallway in front of the dressing room. Before Uendo discovered the body, the only person who had gone in there was Bucky. Come to think of it, a little while before Bucky showed up, Judgeru was barking like mad. Prosecutor Blackwell, do you have any objections to this witness's testimony? No. Tisk. Make up your bloody mind, sad monk, said Madi. First you exorcise me, now this. You need only do as you are instructed by this humble servant of the Holy Mother. As there are no objections, Your Honor, let us move on to the salvation of the victim's soul. That's one pronounced Jugamo? Jugamo? That's a weird name, but okay. Hey, I'm the defense attorney here, Prosecutor, said Madi. I just might have an objection or two once I actually cross-examine the witness. So what are you asking Prosecutor Blackwell for? I'm the one who should be checking you should be checking with. There is a passage in the sacred scripture of Karanism. To stir the wind is beyond the power of a spring chick. In other words, the inexperienced are useless. With that in mind, it seemed more ludicrous to consult Prosecutor Blackwell. Ha ha ha, he doesn't even see you as an adversary, Sykes Dono. Well, I won't let either one of you insult me. I'll show you I'm no experienced spring chick. Your Honor, I'm ready to cross-examine the witness. I hope you can make Prosecutor Sedmati see you as a worthy adversary, Miss Sykes. I'll allow your cross-examination, so you'd better strike while the iron is hot. All right. No. 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 Yes. Oh no. How do you say that? Jugamu? Jugamu? That's my doggy. I keep him at the theater. Let's see. With the twisty twist. And balloon, there you have it, my cute little Jugamu. He's kinda creepy looking. Oh, but he's a really, really good boy. And why was Jugamu barking? Do you think he's because he saw someone suspicious? If so, then we have a new suspect in this case. Now, why was he barking again? Well, I remember, because it was time for me to feed him. So I went into his yard and gave him some food. Couldn't somebody have slipped into the dressing room while you were doing that? Nope, the doors out into the yard was wide open. I would have seen if anybody went into the dressing room. Prosecutor Blackwell, come down to the stand for a sec, please. How many times must I do this? You saw what Gary was talking about, right? So why didn't you mention it before? I can't be expected to remember every minor minute detail. Well, remember them now, please. Did Geru go out into the yard? Yes, I remember now that she went to feed Jugemo, and I saw her looking toward the dressing room quite frequently as well. Do you recall anything else? It looked as though she were feeding the dog a great quantity of dumplings or something. Jugemo couldn't finish them all, so he buried the rest in the corner of the yard. That's about all I can remember. Update! It looks like Geru was telling the truth. Your Honor, I'd like Geru's last statement to be added to a testimony. As you wish, defense. I was in the yard, but the door was wide open so I could keep watch on the dressing room. Well, what about... Whoops. Oh, gosh darn it. Okay, so around the time of the murder, Geru and Simon were hanging out just outside the dressing room. Guess I'm going to have to find a flaw in there somewhere if I want to get anywhere. Okay. Present...
Objection!
The objection. So you were able to keep an eye on the dressing room while you were out in the yard? Is that correct? That's right. The door out into the yard was wide open. Sorry, but that makes 0 sense. Take a look at this diagram of the backstage area. There's a clear contradiction between the diagram and the witness's testimony. Oh? I'm afraid I don't understand, Miss Sykes. Please point to the contradiction. What contradicts the witness's testimony? Okay. Guide, if you're wrong, I'm gonna be very upset.
Take that!
Gerda was in the yard near the doghouse. Prosecutor Blackwell even saw her there, and while she was out there, the door to the yard had been left open. Ah, I see. Yes, if the door to the yard was wide open, as Geru said, it would have blocked her view, making it impossible for her to see the dressing room. What? No way! But even if there were, admittedly a few moments Geru was not keeping watch, how much would that really affect this case? It would greatly affect the case. From the spot Prosecutor Blackwell stood, he couldn't see the dressing room door either. Anyone could have entered the dressing room during that time without being seen. Eek! Geru, why did you try to hide the fact that you weren't watching the dressing room? What?
Objection.
Give me a second, guys. Okay. Hide the fact. You speak as though you think she had something to do with the murder. Rather than deliberate deception, it was more likely a simple oversight. Right, witness? Well, I was so shocked by what happened, I was just confused. That's all. Even though she is trying to keep up a brave front as an entertainer, the truth is that she is being torn apart by grief. For her mind to be in turmoil is hardly unexpected. Yes, it must be very difficult indeed. To a disciple, one's master is akin to a real parent. Surely her shock is immense. The way this lawyer tries to pin the blame on this poor soul at the first opportunity. All I can say is, defense attorneys are heartless creatures indeed. But that wasn't what I was trying to do. Is it beyond your comprehension, defense? Your unskilled argument is scarring this witness even further. And if we ask the people of this courtroom, I am sure they would agree. What? The gallery doesn't get a say in this? Are you afraid to find out that they think ill of you, or is that perhaps you are in the wrong? Listen to them now with that keen sense of hearing you are so proud of.
He's right. That was harsh. She didn't have to go that far. I feel kind of sorry for the witness. And why is the lawyer's outfit so yellow?
Or orange. No, I was just trying to find the truth. Why is the whole gallery siding with Prosecutor Sadmati? The people understand. They know what is right and what is wrong.
That lawyer's still in training, isn't she? Why is she all by herself?
I hear the voices of the gallery. I can hear the voices of their hearts. It's so intense. I feel so alone up here, fighting by myself. Are you afraid, child? It is ludicrous to come to trial with such paltry preparation of the soul. I command you to leave this courtroom at once. But I can't give up. I have to keep pressing on. As long as there was a moment when nobody was watching the dressing room door, the defendant can't be convicted solely on Prosecutor Blackwell and Garu's testimonies. Even now you would continue to resist. You are childish in defeat as well, I see. I'm not out for the count yet, Buster. I'm just getting started. Despite your posturing, is it not true that your resolve could crumble at any moment? With but a little push, you would surely succumb to despair. A little push, such as with this piece of conclusive evidence. Conclusive evidence, huh? That is correct. We found a critical piece of evidence at the scene of the crime. The victim's dying message, which clearly implicates the accused Bucky Wet. Look at these Japanese playing cards known as karuta lined up on the table. These special English version karuta cards spell out a message. The message, wet number 4. Wet number 4? You mean wet noodle number 4? Yes, wet noodle number 4, as the fourth head chef of Wet Soba is also known. This message points to none other than the accused Bucky Wet. No! That makes perfect sense, doesn't it? Wow, great job, Mr. Prosecutor. Oh no, this is really, really bad. What do I do? What do I do? Uh-oh. Would you still carry on your futile fight in the face of this irrefutable evidence? You can say whatever you want, but we won't know until we... It is cruel to give the accused false hope. You will only compound his suffering. Wise people of the courtroom, do you not agree?
He's right. It's cruel to make him suffer when there's conclusive evidence. What an incompetent noob. I feel bad for the victim and the defendant.
What? But I'm trying to prove Mr. Wet's innocence here. I know you can hear them, defense. Their voices implore you to save the accused's soul. It is time for you to let it go and move on, you inexperienced lawyer. You lack the competence with which to accomplish anything meaningful here. Is he right? Is this too much for me to handle on my own?
What good is she doing anybody? She should just quit right now.
Grr. Now, defense, leave everything to this humble servant of the Holy Mother.
Silence!
Ooh, the old silence. Hey, look who's on my side. He's trying to use your keen sense of hearing against you to manipulate the trial, Athena. What a cheap trick for a supposedly holy man. Simon? And you fop-doodles in the gallery. Can a man watch a trial in peace? This inexperienced amateur is about to turn the trial around.
Does that prosecutor really think she can turn things around?
The mood in this courtroom is starting to change. Prosecutor Blackwell, what are you doing at the defense's bench? I grew bored of watching from the gallery. Besides, if I were to leave this trial to this spring chick and lose my favorite soba shop in the process, I will be quite cross. You voluntarily stand on the side of impurity and sin. Truly, what a fool you are. To think you were so easily manipulated by his parlor tricks. Whatever happened to qualified and capable Athena? I just let my guard down a little bit, but it won't happen again. Then gird up your loins and steel yourself for battle. I'm not girding up anything in this skirt, but I am ready to get serious. It seems there is now yet another soul I must cast down into hell. I was in prison for a long time, and hell sounds no worse than cell, to be honest. Ah, but the fires of hell will not be the end of your suffering. For the sin you have just committed, you shall be surely reborn as a panda in your next life. A white and black reverse panda, that is. You shall be put in a zoo to be exposed to public ridicule. A threat like that won't work on Prosecutor Blackwell. After all, he is already used to looking like a panda in this life. Who are you calling a panda? Sorry. I see that you are both prepared to face the fires of damnation. Geru, thank you for your service. You may step down now. Okie dokie. Bye-bye, balloon! Does everything have to be about balloons with her? Now then. I have a witness prepared to testify about the Karuta cards. And who is this witness this time? The first to discover the body and someone who witnessed the crime scene firsthand. Mr. Uendo Tornado. The time has come for that ponytailed pair over there to finally let it all go and move on. Very well, let's bring in this witness then. It's somebody on a bunch of chairs. Witness, please state your name and occupation. I am the Rakugo storyteller Uendo Tornado. Even if my performance isn't worth watching, I will certainly watch my words. I wouldn't want to say anything thoughtless and get arrested. After all, that'd be a Rakuno, hee hee. Thank you, everybody. Good night. You can't leave yet. You've only just introduced yourself. Oh, my. Are you a fan of mine, miss? Would you like my autograph? One moment. What do you think of this guy, guys? Ow! What did you think you're doing? No need to stand on ceremony. My fan deserves a fan, after all. A fan for a fan. Nice one. Hee hee. Oh, why, if it isn't Simon. How are you on this fine day, sir? Quite a dilly of a pickle we found ourselves in, wouldn't you say? I don't believe I've ever seen you talk quite so much, Uendo. Never performed in a place like this, you know? I got butterflies here, can't you see? Hee hee. Why do I always get the weird ones? All the defense attorneys get the weird ones. Pardon me, witness. As much as I enjoy your banter, I believe we had better return to the case at hand. I suppose you're right. In that case... I was promoted to Futatsume yesterday and received the stage name of Uendo. That show was our way of celebrating my new name in middle ranks standing. Hee. And then that happened. I never dreamt something like that had happened, not in a million years. And just as I got my chance to start repaying my debt to Shisho too. Yeah, plus I'm worried about Geru. The way she clung to Shisho, poor thing, I told her to keep a stiff upper lip. Stiff like rigor mortis. Keep telling those lame jokes and Shisho will come scold you from the grave. I wouldn't mind getting yelled at, you know, if it meant seeing him again. Uendo, please, as charming as your various characters are, this isn't a Rakugo stage. Let us hear your testimony now, witness. Tell the court about the evidence left at the scene, the proof of the accused's guilt. This is a very interesting character we're about to testify, so enjoy him. I noticed Shisho's dying message right away. The stiff cards were right there next to the stiff, you see. Hey now, enough with the silly puns already. Hee hee. Anyway, I got the meaning right away. I knew it must have been talking about Bucky. That was the Master's final message, left as he was drowning in soba broth. It's so like Shisho not to write Bucky's name outright. Plain and simple wasn't his style. Well, that was certainly a more entertaining testimony than usual. The variety of characters performed by the witness was absolutely splendid.
But he shouldn't be performing any characters in the first place, Your Honor. And, Wendo, the murder weapon hasn't been determined yet. So how can you say that the victim was drowned in soba broth? It's obvious. All you have to do is look at the crime scene. He was found with his face shoved in a bowl. It's only natural to assume he was drowned in the broth of the noodles. Except we're not here to assume things, Wendo, so please stick to just the facts. My, it's so like a soba chef to kill someone this way, wouldn't you say? And with the karate message he left behind, it's clear Bucky Wet did it.
Setting aside the issue of the murder weapon for now, that dying message certainly does seem to be irrefutable evidence.
Indeed, it proves the absolute guilt of the accused.
I've got to admit that I can't see how that message could mean anything else. Bucky used soba for the deed, all to get back the soba shop deed. This testimony makes Mr. Wet look super guilty. Have to do something.
That's his conclusive evidence. What a farce. What do you mean, Simon? What's this? I thought you said you weren't planning on asking me for help.
I did and I won't, thank you very much.
Simon must have found an inconsistency in this testimony. I better listen carefully and try to see what he found. Nuh-uh. Nope. Nuh-uh. No. Yes.
Let's see.
Autopsy report.
Objection!
There's a contradiction in the Wendo's testimony.
And would you care to explain where, Miss Sykes?
Certainly, Your Honor. According to the autopsy report, nothing unusual was found in the victim's lungs.
Yes, it does say that, doesn't it?
Gulp. If he had drowned in a bowl of soba, then there shouldn't have been soba broth in his lungs. But since there wasn't any, it means the victim was suffocated with something other than soba broth.
What?
This is the contradiction you notice, isn't it, Simon?
Not bad. Not bad at all.
I guess I showed you.
But if drowning in the soba broth wasn't the cause of death, then when was the victim's face thrust into that bowl?
Typhoon Tornado's face was thrust into the bowl. Save the game. Whoops. It was after the murder. Because no soba broth was discovered in the victim's lungs, his head must have been placed into the bowl after he was killed. And that's when the soba broth must have been spilled onto the Karuda cards. In other words, the victim could not have lined the cards up as he was drowning.
I see. So it was done after he was already dead. But why would the culprit do such a thing?
I'm afraid I don't know yet. Heh. You boast of psychological expertise, yet you cannot determine such a simple motive. My sides are liable to split at the absurdity. What? And I suppose you know why? Of course, desecrating the body in that manner indicates a strong sense of enmity on the part of the perpetrator.
Yes, that does make sense. It certainly paints a clear picture of the culprit's intense feelings toward the victim.
Feelings of resentment over the theft of Soba Shop's deed, no doubt.
Just great. Now the judge has an even more unfavorable impression of Bucky.
Silence!
Must you come undone at every juncture? If the culprit had enough time to set up Master Tornado's body, do you think they would have honestly failed to notice the dying message? Good point. The cards were right in front of his body, after all. Rationally speaking, there's no way the culprit could have missed that, huh?
Objection!
Ah, but was the accused rational at the time, given the way he stormed out of that room?
Silence.
Never mind that. I have something more important to ask Uendo. Me? You saw the Karuda cards firsthand, did you not? Would you care to tell us about them in a bit more detail? Those tiny crime scene photos show us precious little of what I wish to know. Well, those cards are from Shisho's special Soba Scenes of Tokyo Pass set. Each card is related in some way to Soba. Spare me the history lesson. Just tell me how the cards looked at the scene, and no more. Well, there was soba broth spilled all over them. That's not much help, I'm afraid. Prosecutor Sadmati, do you have a photo that shows the cards more clearly? I do. Please accept this meager offering, Your Honor. I see what you mean by filler case. This is a rather light case compared to what we're about to go through with the Phoenix. Oh yeah. Just a little case, just to remind us that Athena exists. Just a filler. It's only 3 hours long, actually. It's a very short case. Oh my, what delightful looking cards. Well. Tearing Prosecutor Sedmonk's conclusive evidence apart should be a breeze with this. Huh? Don't tell me you haven't noticed. Don't be silly. Of course I have. Not noticed anything, but I can't exactly say that now, can I? You really couldn't give Athena something better to do? Sadly, no. They technically did give Athena something better to do in the last game. Miss Sykes, do you really see a problem with the prosecution's claims about these cards? Well, go on then. Alright, it's do or die. All I have to do is study the picture and... These cards were rearranged. The cards were rearranged. Phoenix is changing a country's law. Athena is judging noodles. Yep. Athena's first and last point of interest, the game where she's introduced. Sadly, yeah. Unless there's a new trilogy. If the new trilogy had more Athena, maybe that's how they could restart the series. Maybe. These cards were rearranged. But how can you tell? Please take a good look at these cards, Your Honor. The answer is right in front of us. Where exactly should we be looking for, Miss Sykes? The soba broth stains. Okay. Please focus your attention on the soba broth stain on these cards. The outline of these stains don't match up with the larger stain on the table. Oh, would you look at that? You're absolutely right. And please recall that the soba broth was spilled and got onto the cards after the murder, when the victim's face was placed in the bowl. Yes, go on. By the stains, we can see that the culprit deliberately rearranged the cards after that. In other words, this message was delivered in order to pin the crime on my client. What? Then if we put the cards back in their original positions, we can restore the evidence and see who the cards were really pointing toward. That's true. Palukun. And what are we waiting for? Let's do this. All I have to do is rearrange the cards so the stains match up. Let's see. Where was this W card originally? Let's see. It's a mini game, guys. Find the cards. Place the cards in the right spots. Perfect. Okay. The H card is next. Let's see. Where was this H card originally? Right here, I think. Yes, now the E card. Let's see. Where was this E card originally? A perfect match. Next up is the T card. Let's see. Where was the T card originally? Great, that fits right in there. Now the N card. Let's see. Where was the N card originally? Right there. There, that looks good. now O. Let's see, where was this O card originally? Nice, almost done now. The last card is the 4. Let's see, where was the 4 card originally?
Take that!
Owen 4th. But what does that mean? So the message, wet number 4, was originally supposed to say, Owen 4th. And this original message is our clue to the identity of the true culprit. What? Heh, that indignant look on Prosecutor said Monk's face is positively priceless. This is absurd. It was originally Owen 4th? It wasn't wet number 4? Maybe the lawyer is smarter than we thought. Order in the court. Well, I never would have imagined that there was more to these cards than meets the eye. What does it mean, though? So now that's settled, what does this Owen 4th mean? Wait, am I? Who else do you suppose is to provide an explanation? Of course it's you. But I hadn't thought that far yet. Change the cards around all you'd like, but if you cannot explain what the message means, then it is as worthless as you are, defense. No! And so the spring chick that fancies itself a graceful swan is brought back down to earth. I have to do something, but what? Still your thoughts for a second. There's a perfectly good witness to question over there. Oh, right, that's a good idea. Come on, Athena, get a hold of yourself. Owendo, does the phrase Owen 4th mean anything to you? No, there's no one named Owen in the Tornado family, or our circle of friends. Go ahead, ask anybody you'd like. You can't be serious. Having rummaged through your empty mind, I see you have, as expected, turned up nothing. No, says Star.
Silence!
Silence, says Blackquill. I'm afraid that I have no idea who the devil this Owen 4th is either. But the fact remains that the cards were rearranged to pin the blame on Mr. Wet. That in itself proves that the defendant isn't the real culprit. Thought you was smoking chopsticks? Who was? Oh, the person. The person on the stand. Prosecutor Blackquill is right. Besides, the important question here is not who does the message point to, but rather who rearranged the cards. Tisk, why didn't you point that out earlier if you already knew? Sorry. In any case, there were 2 opportunities for someone to rearrange the cards. The first was when Mr. Wet entered the dressing room, and the second was when Owendo discovered the body. Yeah, that guy. Are you accusing me of rearranging the cards? Me, who came to testify out of the goodness of my heart? Well, you didn't exactly come running out screaming straight away, did you? Even a mere 2 or 3 minutes is more than enough time to get up to some devilry. So what exactly were you doing in there, Owendo? Sip, sip. Put down that tea and spit out your answer. Eep! Mr. Prosecutor, what's a guy supposed to do at a time like this? Silence is more precious than diamonds, witness. Therefore, you need only stay silent. Love how he is her coach now. Oh, Simon's Athena's coach. Yeah, I do like that. Oh, I see. So that's why they're afraid. That's what they're after, is it? In that case, Your Honor, I've decided not to say another word. Very good. After all, it's your right to remain silent. Your right to remain silent is protected by law. Well, Prosecutor Blackquill, any other brilliant ideas you'd like to share? There's that laugh again. Did you hear that, Sykes-Dono? A Rakugo artist who's afraid to speak. Who ever heard of such a thing? Are you trying to taunt him into talking? Such a petty trick will never work. That's right, I'm not going to fall for it. I'm only asking to hear your story. Besides, it is not your job to tell your tales if there is an audience to listen. Even so, I have the right to refuse to answer. The more you keep quiet, the more we want you to talk. That's simple human nature. Isn't that right? People of the gallery. There's Simon messing up the... convincing the courtrooms again. Manipulating the peoples. But it's for good this time. Even with this wonderful audience in front of you, you still refuse to talk. If so, then perhaps you chose the wrong line of work, my friend. Are you just saying I should quit? Because I'm not afraid to speak my mind, I'll have you know. Oh no, never mind what I just said. It is scary to talk, it is absolutely terrifying. But no, as a Rakugo artist, I must talk. If I don't, how can I ever show my face on stage again? Your Honor, I'm ready to testify. He did it! He managed to convince Uendo with his power of suggestion technique. Bully for you, Uendo. That's as a real Rakugo artist should be. Alright. If the witness wishes to testify, then by all means, please do. To be turned by such an obvious ploy, what a man of weak spirit. Oh, just you wait. After my performance, I went to visit Shisho. I called to him from outside the room, but he didn't reply. When I entered the dressing room, I saw Shisho slumped over the table, motionless. From what I can tell, there do not appear to be any inconsistencies in the testimony. Of course there aren't any, because I'm not trying to hide anything. Prosecutor Sadmari's right, I don't see anything inconsistent either, but I did pick up some faint discord in Uendo's heart. Ponder all you would like, defense, but it is pointless. Your Honor, I believe there is no need for further deliberation. I disagree, Your Honor. I detected a discord in the voice of the witness's heart. That's a clear indication of Uendo is facing some sort of inner turmoil. Hang on a minute. Give me a second. Okay. Clear indication. Are you saying what I think you're saying, Miss Sykes? Yes, Your Honor. The defense would like to conduct a quick therapy session on this witness. Uendo, there is no need for you to submit this so-called therapy. It's fine by me. I have nothing to hide. Bring it on. Impetuous fool! Why will you not listen to the guidance of this humble servant of the Holy Mother? If the witness wishes to proceed, I see no problem, prosecutor. In one ear and out the other. It seems this performer has no need for your so-called guidance, Prosecutor Sad Monk. Just know this, Uendo. Your folly will surely earn you divine retribution. Thanks, Simon. I'm going to make the most of this opportunity you created for me. Just keep your wits about you. I will. Uendo, could you tell us again about what happened in the dressing room? Alright, guys. What is going on with this guy? Why is he acting so strange? After my performance, I went to visit Shisho. I called to him from outside the room, but he didn't reply. When I entered the dressing room, I saw Shisho slumped over the table, motionless. Let me save the game real quick. It would make sense that he would be sad, like very upset. He keeps traveling between multiple countries to do this. Multiple countries. So, yeah, he's sad, but not surprised. What's going on there, huh? Uendo, I noticed something was strange with these emotions. When you say countries, do you mean the prosecutor or the guy on the stand? Oh man, you gotta stay up late on Tuesday? Oh, you do? How come? Glad you're still here. Hope you've been enjoying the stream. Oh, the prosecutor. Gotcha. Uendo, I've noticed something strange with these emotions. Some thin stranger with cheesy toe skin, you say? No, something strange with these emotions. How could you have heard some thin stranger with cheesy toe skin? Ew. I don't know. Maybe it's me who's got some cheese in my ears. Did he will the floor to open up and swallow his cushions out of shame for that bad joke? Watching the basketballs? Ooh, nice. Are you watching, the court basketballs too? Or both or something? That would be cool. The point I'm trying to make is that I noticed something unexpected in your emotions. Now stop hiding and come out where we can see you. Bailiff, please bring the witness a few replacement cushions. You think so? Cool. So what was this unexpected thing you noticed? Oh, come on. His Honor said a few cushions, not a few dozen. Now that we've all had a good laugh, please continue, Miss Sykes. Who's laughing? Arg, focus, Athena. Don't let yourself get rattled. When you entered the room and saw your master slumped motionless over the table, you weren't the least bit shocked, Uendo. Don't you think that's a little odd? Is it, though? You are the sleepy now. Oh, bye, Foursquare. I'll see you later. Have a good one, my friend. The lack of surprise means you were prepared for what you saw. And I think I know why. The reason Uendo wasn't shaken when he saw his master's dead body is because he knew about his master's death. Uendo, I think maybe the reason you weren't shaken was because you already knew you would find your master dead. What? What kind of thing is that to say? You got it all wrong. Oh, right. I just remembered something. I thought Shisha was just sleeping when I first saw him. Hee hee. Okay, that's good. Give me a second, lads. Okay. You thought he was sleeping? It sounds plausible, but... What made you think he was asleep? Well, he had his head and arms up on the table, as if he was taking a nap. Oh, and one other thing. There was that note, too. A note? What note? Ah, he must be talking about this. Resting, do not disturb. It appears to have been written by the victim. Allow me to read it. Resting, do not disturb. Yes, that's the note I saw. After reading that, who wouldn't think Shisha was napping? That is a pretty reasonable assumption. You've got to be kidding me. That's right. I saw this note, so that's why I thought Shisha was asleep. I want to change my testimony to include that statement. Alright, I'll run an update. After my performance, I went to visit Shisho. I called to him from outside the room, but he didn't reply. Info update. When I opened the door, I thought he was sleeping, but something seemed off, so I rushed over to him. So, why are you angry? Uendo, I noticed something funny in your emotions again. Funny, you say? I guess an entertainer of my caliber can make people laugh, even with my emotions. I didn't mean that kind of funny. Quite the opposite, actually. When you entered the dressing room, I see that you suddenly felt anger. What I want to know is, what made you feel angry all of a sudden? What? Let's see. Oh yeah, now I remember. As I was going in, I whacked my little piggy on something. I was annoyed at my own clumsiness. Hee hee. Wait, you mean you stubbed your pinky toe? Just a little bump on my little piggy. No big deal. It's embarrassing, really. Sounds more like he's hiding something. Better dig a bit deeper. No need to be embarrassed, Uendo, but I'm afraid it's something we need to look into. I don't really see anything you could have stubbed your toe on in the area around the dressing room door in this picture. But maybe there was something there at that time. Uendo, what exactly did you stub your toe on? What an irrelevant question. You dishonor the soul of the victim with these unnecessary delays. You tell her, really, who doesn't stub their toe every once in a while? We really gotta fuss over every small detail like this? Well, the thing is... even the most subtle of fluctuations in a person's psyche can clue us into the truth. That's why if it's important to get to the bottom of this question. Plus if I back down now, who knows what new insult Simon will hurl my way. Is there really not no trace left of what Uendo has stubbed his toe on by the door? What in the world might have been there then, but is not there now? Let me just save real quick. Hey, Hellfire Skyrim. Shockingly, I'm not losing. In fact, I'm just ready to present... the TV! But what's up? How you doing? Please take a look at this photo of the crime scene. Do you see it? The long track that goes from the door all the way across the room? Now that you mention it, I do see traces of something getting dragged. And that drag mark ends... there, at the TV. This implies that the TV was originally by the door. Where's Phoenix or Apollo? They are both missing right now. Well, they're somewhere else. And Athena's taking the stand now as the defense person. I'm convinced that this TV is the object the witness stubbed his toe on. Well, Uendo, how about it? Yes, you're right. It was the TV. 10. Darn it. Give me a second, lads. Okay. There, the noise level dropped again. Yes, I stubbed my pinky toe on the TV, but what of it? Why is this so important to you? So the noise went down, but it hasn't completely disappeared yet, which means he's still hiding something. Okay then, let's try this tactic instead. Uendo, why was the TV moved there? Shisho must have moved it so he could watch my routine. But what a place to put it, right in the middle of the doorway like that. I didn't want to bump into it again, so I put it back to where it belonged. Performances on stage can be viewed in the dressing room using that TV? That's right, it's a closed-circuit monitor that shows the stage. Welcome to this strange being, by the way, Hellfire Skyrim. I see. Now what? I can't find anything else out of place. I still haven't gotten the noise level down to 0 yet. Simon, I'm getting noise here, but I don't see anything else fishy. This is precisely why amateurs are such a bother. Sorry. I'm in no mood to play nursemaid here, but if that's what it takes to save the soba shop. Hoi, Uendo, here's the curiosity for you. This table Master Tornadoes is slumped over, looks like it was moved. Did you happen to bump into it while you were moving the TV back? Oh my, yes, you're right. The TV hit the table, and Shisho's body moved with a jolt. That's when I first realized that Shisho was dead. Oh, but how scared I was. I see. Thank you. We're finally getting a more precise picture of how the body was discovered. Did you just almost call me Captain Hellfire Skyrim? Yeah, maybe. It's late, and names are blending into each other again. Alright, Mafia Babe. I mean Hellfire Skyrim. Oh, shoot. Oh, no. But I'd wager you need to put the spurs to Oendo's just a trifle longer. Right. I can't keep asking Simon to bail me out like this. It's time for me to regain my footing and really stand on my own. Uendo, what you just said now about discovering your master's death? You ain't sailing no ship. You ain't sailing no ship. Could you please describe all of that again for the court in detail? All right. But before you do, let me just plug in the latest information. No. 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 Info update. Seeing him slumped over that cluttered table, sniff, oh, Shisho. He seems very sad about it, but very, very, very surprised now. Okay, that's odd. After the initial shock of finding the victim dead, you reacted with a surprise again. What was it that surprised you, Uendo, besides your master's death? Well, what do you mean? What's more, you were even more surprised the second time than the first. What could have surprised you more than finding your late master? What the F is this, techno tablet nonsense? It was a main feature of the, last game. Search me, you little thing. Your little thingy must have made a mistake.
Silence!
The girl is as sharp as a trout, to be sure. But her ability to hear people's emotions is absolute. Now get to remembering, Uendo. What was it that surprised you? That was a compliment, right? Well, 100? No, you pushed him too hard, and now he's mentally ill all over the place. His emotions are completely out of control. Out of control? Care to explain how that's relevant? You know how normally I listen for the hidden emotions in a witness's voice, right? From there, I look for inconsistencies between their testimonies and those emotions. But sometimes a person's feelings can run too high and making it hard to get proper readings. So that's how your Matrix program works. Fascinating. Ordinarily, if it's just one emotion that runs out of control, but it seems there's nothing ordinary about this time. After my performance, I went to visit Shisho. I called to him from outside the room, but he didn't reply. When I opened the door, I thought he was sleeping. I tried to enter the dressing room, but stubbed my toe on the TV. When I put the TV back in its normal spot, I realized that Shisho was dead. Seeing him slumped over that cluttered table, sniff, oh, Shisho. I knew it. What's got your knickers all in a bunch now? Uendo has multiple emotions running out of control at the same time. I've never seen anything like this, ever. So how does one bring a situation like this back under control? I have to find the root cause of this tangled mess before I can treat him. If I can identify what is causing this emotional rampage, then I can probe to dive in further. Need to point to where I think is the root cause and hit probe again. Through this process, I can identify exactly what's causing Uendo so much distress. And that will help bring his emotions back under control. In that case, let's get started, shall we? Alright, I can't guarantee success, but it's definitely worth a shot. Time to look for the root cause of Uendo's rampaging emotions. So what's going on with this guy, guys? What's going on here? What is happening? Let's do a little savey save. And let's probe on the Karuta cards. What's going on as he's lying through his teeth? You'll see what's actually going on. This is a very interesting character, more than most characters in like all of the games. But you'll see what I mean in just a second. I get it now. The cards were the root of it all. Don't try to deny it. You can't hide your feelings from me. The dying message that was left at the scene of the crime is what was causing your distress. And if the dying message was the cause of all those feelings, then that means the phrase Owen Forth means something to you. No. Heyo. But what does it mean to this guy, though? There. Noise level 0. Finally. The dying message consists of 2 words, Owen and Forth, but neither of these 2 words have anything to do with this witness. This topic warrants no further argument. Sure, there may not seem to be any direct connection between Uendo and the message, for now, but why don't you wait and decide what's necessary after you hear my theory? I trust you've hit upon something, Athena. Yep, if my theory is right, we can finally solve this case of Owendo and the mysterious Owen Forth. Well, go on then. I can already tell this promises to be interesting. Now please share your theory about with the court, Miss Sykes. There was something puzzling to me about Owendo's out-of-control emotions just now. Namely, that there were 3 distinct reactions present. I had never seen that before, and I wondered how it could be possible. Is there a conclusion to this meandering musing of yours? Hold your horses, I'm getting there. So, could a person flip between 3 distinct emotions of such intensity like a switch? In the end, I concluded that it just wasn't possible. Ha ha ha. So that's it, is it? A bit unconventional, but I'll grant that it's a possible within the realm of psychology. Well, though, within the realm of psychology? I'm afraid you'll have to explain it for the old man up here on the bench. Your Honor, my theory is that Owendo... With so many distinct personas, it's clear to me that... Owendo has dissociative identity disorder. What does that even mean? Your Honor, the defense would treat this trial as a child's jest. Multiple personality disorder. A preposterous proposition indeed. Would you not agree, witness? How did she know? How did she figure it out? There you have it. Polkunka. I can't believe it. I did it. I did it, Simon. I've read papers on it before, but to think I see a case of it for myself. Why is this judge gonna retire? Never. He already looks old enough to retire in the first Phoenix Wright game. Nah, he's always gonna be the judge. Even after he's dead. Of all things he didn't expect. D.I.D. Yep. Blimey. Rakugo artists tell different stories as different characters, but as different personalities? Hey you, lawyer girl. You got a problem with us, huh? No problem at all. This is all very hard to believe, but now that we've established that the witness has multiple personalities, could each of them please introduce themselves to this court? Owendo Tornado. I'm a Rakugo storyteller, as you know. Hello everybody, Patches, the friendly jester here. Hee hee. Kill Jester. Kisagawa, courtesan. And is that all of you? Yes, that's all of us. Is that how D.I.D. works, by the way? Can they just, go through their personalities, just like that? I know nothing of this topic, so if there's a professional, feel free to enlighten me. So there are 3 personalities in total. Owendo, Patches, and Kisagawa, huh? Yes and no. Okay. Well, Simon, what do you think now? That you're one lucky duck. Just be glad they were dense enough to help you out. Can't you just straight up say I did great for a change? Heh. You appear to be quite fond of your self-defense, but all you have done is infringe upon the privacy of the witness. I couldn't disagree more, prosecutor. Now that we know there are 3 personalities, a new way for us to interpret the meaning of a certain piece of evidence has arisen. A new interpretation? Ooh, now I'm very curious. What is this piece of evidence you're talking about, Miss Sykes? Knowing what we know about Owendo and his personalities, this now makes perfect sense. Let's see. Not all cases of DID are so severe. To have so many personalities so clearly defined is a rare thing, and splitting yourself like that can actually be very dangerous for mental stability. So, the more personalities you have, the more, not good it is, right? It happens because of trauma, right? That's something I think I know. From, I think the game mentioned that, actually. Anyway, remember the, message?
Take that!
The Karuta cards? That's right, Your Honor. Recall the original dying message left at the scene. You didn't have a clue as to what Owen Forth could possibly meant.
Yeah, people like that can wind up having nasty mental breakdowns.
Oof, that's rough. That's rough. I feel sorry for anyone who, actually has it in the real lives. It does happen in real life, right? I know there's a movie called Split involving that. I think it happens. Isn't it possible that Owen Forth actually means a secret fourth personality of Owendo's? A personality named Owen?
It can happen from trauma, but it doesn't always. Some people are more
born with it, kinda? Maybe. It's a strange topic. What? Polkunka! Owendo must have kept his dissociative identity disorder from us because he didn't want to be associated in any way with that dying message. No, that's not why. We kept our disorder a secret for a different reason altogether. We've been taking advantage of our affliction to act out various Rakugo characters. If word got out, well, our reputation as a Rakugo artist would be tarnished, as would the Tornado name. That's why we kept it a secret from everybody except members of the Tornado School. But really, there is no fourth personality. It's just the three of us in here. A plausible enough sounding story. But it doesn't prove you didn't rearrange the cards, does it? Okay. But... Give me a second, guys. Okay. I will concede that it is highly likely that the witness rearranged the cards. Is Prosecutor Sadmadi actually agreeing with us? However, is it not also possible that the accused killed Master Tornado?
Either way, again, 3 or 4 personalities that are so clearly defined and moreover agreeable together. That's very rare. Watched one YouTuber for a bit who had a nasty case of it, and she said when the others were in control, she couldn't do anything.
Sheesh. That's rough. I feel for that person. And then left the message in order to frame the witness. Ugh. And upon noticing the cards when he found the victim's body, Owendo rearranged them.
Silence.
She's a sweetheart. Aw, that's good. She's a sweetheart, so that's good at least. With a rough thing she's going through. A fantastic tale, but a tale nonetheless. No one outside the Tornado School knew about Owendo's multiple personalities. Owendo just finished saying so himself. Ah, that is true, but an ultimately meaningless point. The witness was only in the dressing room for 2 to 3 minutes. That's far too little time to commit murder, wouldn't you say? Then who's to say he couldn't have done it before his discovery? That spring chick memory of yours. Have you already forgotten Prosecutor Blackwell's testimony? Simon's testimony? Oh. Garu escorted me to the dressing room, but we heard the sound of Rakugo being performed from within. Thinking the master was rehearsing, we decided to wait in the hall until he was done. Bang! That's right. Until just a few moments before Owendo entered the dressing room, Typhoon Tornado was confirmed to still be alive. Ugh! None! Not only that, but Owendo was on stage until just before he discovered the body. A bulletproof alibi that I have already confirmed with several audience members. Oh no! I also heard that his Rakugo performance that day was a steaming pile of... Well, you get the picture. Yes, I'm afraid so. Really stunk up the stage, I did. Hee hee. And yet, I have a perfect alibi. Indeed. Why not lend the coup de grace on the defense by describing your alibi, witness? Okie dokie smoky. I was on stage until just moments before I went into the dressing room.
The entire audience was my witness.
But my performance was a huge bust. Not a single soul laughed. I'll never be able to live down how terribly I bombed during that very important show. Nice Joy-Con.
I know, right? Isn't it great?
Owendo was on stage before he found the body, so he could not have committed this crime. It is time to let it all go, Defense, and move on.
Do you think the murderer could be Owen, by the way? The fourth person?
What if the case took that direction?
Well, get this, Prosecutor Sadmari. The Wright Anything Agency never gives up. We fight to the bitter end.
Feh.
Allow me to say this once more. Let it go and move on.
And allow me to say once more, I'm never giving up.
Let it go and never. This is pointless.
You should have taken advantage of this opportunity while you could, you foolish child. Your worthless convictions only serve to prolong the accused's suffering. If words will not sway you, then perhaps pain will. Oh no, anything but this.
Turn.
And Sadmari is in contempt of court again, or at least in trouble, right? Imagine if it went to the direction of the judge somehow did it.
The judge did it.
No, sadly, a judge committed murder in the last game.
Sorry.
What's the big idea, Prosecutor Sadmari? That was but a small dose of punishment for your misguided convictions. Are you now a bit more inclined to give up, as instructed? As if. In that case, you must require another dose.
Haha. Not bloody likely.
You mean you actually already know the one for this one?
Oh, fudge.
Nah. I don't give two flips about your beliefs, but if Sykestone were to submit to you here, I won't be able to eat good soba anymore. But that's right. For Mr. Wet's future and Prosecutor Blackwell's stomach, I will never give up.
You will rue those words, Defense. Of that I can assure you.
Blame certain sanctions of the internet.
Yep.
Oh, thanks, internet. I was on stage until just moments before I was the thing.
The entire audience and eyewitness.
But my performance was a huge bust. Not a single soul left. Do you have any idea what went wrong? I'm not sure if it was my performance or if it was just that particular audience. Or maybe it was just the story I picked. But every entertainer knows that this kind of thing happens from time to time. I guess that makes sense. Still, I wonder how he could have flopped at his own commemorative show. Maybe I should dig into things a bit more. Could you tell me what Rakugo story you performed? I could, but I'm not sure it would mean anything to the uninitiated. Well, even if I might not get it, can't you at least try me? Alright, if you insist. The story I performed is called Toki Soba, otherwise known as Time Soba. Time Soba, huh? Maybe Uendo's right. He only said the name of the routine and I'm already lost. Ah, so you performed Time Soba, did you? What? You know it, Prosecutor Sadmari? In the course of my studies last night, I became familiar with a number of stories. I must say, Defense, that you would do well to prepare better for your next trial.
Nah.
Simon, what's Time Soba about?
Look it up yourself.
Allow me to give an overview. The story takes place on a winter's night. A man orders a bowl of soba at a street stall. How you doing, sir? What can I get for ya? I see you've got seaweed top hanamaki soba and mixed bowl. I'll have a bowl of seppuku, my good man. It would suit is cold tonight, isn't it? But there's nothing like a hot bowl of noodles and soup to warm the soul. You know it, sir. One sip seppuku coming right up. So how's business? Not so great, sir. Is that so? Well, that's great, because things can only get better from here, right?
Wow, prosecutor.
The customer talks on and on like this. Finally, when he is done eating, he goes to pay for his soba. So how much do I owe you? That'll be 16 mon, sir. I see. Sorry, but only have a small change on me. I'll count the coins into your palm, so could you hold out your hand for me? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hey, what time is it? It's 9, sir. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Thanks and bye.
Very well done, prosecutor, said Marty. That was excellent.
Huh? I don't get it. What's so funny about that?
Tisk, don't you see? The customer paid with coins, counting them out one by one. Then just after counting 8, he asked about the time, and the soba vendor answered with 9.
Oh, now I get it. He made the vendor say 9, and then he continued counting from 10.
Exactly. He cheated the soba vendor out of 1 mon with his smooth talking. The story continues with another man who saw the whole thing, and he tries to do the same, but he bungles the trick and ends up paying more than 16 mon for his soba. The story ends on that as the punchline. You can look up the rest of the details yourself.
Oh, or I'm sure Prosecutor Sadmonk over there would love to perform it for you after court. So, basically it's a story about a man cheating on his soba bill. That's kind of petty, isn't it? Is that really all you have to say about this classic story? Time soba is such a well-known staple of Rakugo that the skill...
Fine, so you studied a lot, but we haven't the time for a lecture detour right now, Prosecutor Sadmonk. Oh, I wanted to hear a little more, but I suppose it is off topic. Getting back to the matter at hand, Miss Sykes, the witness stated that the story I performed is called Toki Soba, otherwise known as Time Soba. Would you like to add the statement to his testimony?
Should I have that statement added to the testimony?
Yeah. Obviously.
Yes, Your Honor. I'd like to have it added.
Very well.
Okay. The story I performed is called Toki Soba, otherwise known as Time Soba. Okay. Let me just do something real quick. Soba glutton. Wanda was supposed to do his soba glutton routine.
Objection!
Wendo, isn't there something odd about the routine you performed? Odd? No, I don't think there's anything odd about it. But that's exactly what I find odd. The fact that you don't think it's odd.
Objection!
We are discussing the witness's alibi at the moment, defense. The show's program is completely irrelevant.
Objection!
That's where you're wrong, prosecutor, said Mari. The reason being, it contradicts the statement the witness just made. Wendo, do you know what this is? No. What is it? This is an invitation to the show sent from Master Tornado to Prosecutor Blackwell. Included in the invitation is the rundown of the show's program, which clearly states that Time Soba was to be performed by Master Tornado himself. No. Wendo, why did you perform the routine your master was scheduled to do? Well, you see, the reason for that is... How do I say this? You see, let's say it was a prank. But that's right, it was just a little joke, you see. Hee hee hee. I was trying to surprise Shisho by performing his routine before he did. I don't know if I buy that. Was doing the victim's routine really just for laughs, or... Hey, didn't Simon happen to hear Time Soba coming from the dressing room? During Owendo's performance on stage? It seems like too much of a coincidence. Wait, can it be? What's the matter? You look like a hen with a dozen eggs to lay. Stop comparing me to birds. Then cease this bird-brain timidity. If something had occurred to you, then lay it out for us already. Don't breed resentment in those watching your performance. Okay. I don't have a ton of confidence in this theory, but here goes. It looks like Uendo's alibi checks out, Your Honor, but even though he was on stage at the time, he may have been trying to obfuscate a crucial detail about the case. Are you referring to the soba bill the man tried to skimp on in the witness's story? I'm not talking about the Rakugo story, Your Honor.
Oh, I'm sorry, but then what are you talking about, Miss Sykes?
When Uendo may have been trying to deceive us was about the... just in case I get it wrong, the save data of the victim's death. Uendo tried to deceive us about the time of the victim's death. What? Eek!
Objection.
What gibberish. Prosecutor Blackwell even testified to the time of the victim's death. I know, but he only testified that way because he and Giru had been completely taken in.
You mean by the Soba Bill thing?
Would you please forget about the story for a second, Your Honor? I was deceived. Pray tell, how did Uendo manage to deceive two people while he was performing on stage? That's easy. All he had to do was use a certain prop in the dressing room.
Oh, and what might that be?
The prop Uendo used was... the save, just in case. It's gotta be pixel perfect. The TV! This TV was used to view what happened on stage. Prosecutor Blackwell, when you came to the dressing room, what was Uendo doing? He was performing time soba.
Blast, could it be?
Yes, it could, and it was. When you and Giru heard it was not Master Tornado practicing his routine. It was Uendo's performance as heard through the TV monitor speakers.
What?
With the TV just inside the inner door of the dressing room, it could easily be heard from the hallway outside. And because we knew that Master Tornado was scheduled to perform time soba, we were easily manipulated into thinking he was still alive at the time, rehearsing. Yes, your knowledge of the day's program is why the two of you could be fooled this way. Simon, did the voice you hear belong to Master Tornado? With the doors in the way, I couldn't tell exactly who the voice belonged to. But because I heard time soba, I just assumed it was Master Tornado. I can't believe I was taken in by such a simple mind game. All of that is mere conjecture. Where is your proof, defense? Uendo moved the TV back to when he discovered the body. After all, he couldn't very well leave it by the door, because then someone might figure out the trick he's been playing.
Yeah.
And there's only one more thing about Uendo's actions that's suspicious.
And that is?
The fact that he flopped so badly on such an important occasion.
What's so suspicious about that?
Even pros slip up once in a while, you know. But I believe that this time it was intentional. Because Uendo knew it'd be strange to hear laughter coming from the dressing room.
Oh my!
Yipes! It's all just a bit too perfect to be sheer coincidence. Plus, if the voice Prosecutor Blackwell and Giru heard was due to Uendo's scheming, then the victim's time of death could have been earlier than 4 p.m.
In other words, Uendo could have killed Master Tornado himself.
We got you by the stones now, Uendo, so you better confess everything.
Nah.
Well, witness, what do you have to say for yourself? We demand an explanation. Uendo!
Nah.
I confess. I tampered with the crime scene. Rakugo can be rather eccentric or esoteric in this in comedy.
It's something, alright.
I want to see an actual Rakugo thing sometime. Is it true the defense's claim that Uendo and Tornado is the true murderer in this case? If he tampered with the crime scene, then we have to at least consider him a suspect. Now wait just 1 minute. Yes, I admit to messing with the dressing room, but I didn't kill Shisho. Then why did you tamper with the crime scene? I refuse to answer that question. What? If you want, you could send you the thingy, the Jagamu or whatever that said. Go for it. If you suspect this witness, then I have a question for you. What could it be this time? Uendo has absolutely no reason to murder Taifu Tornado. After all, why would Uendo kill the man who recognized his skills and promoted him? Oh! Well, his motive was, I I can't think of a single thing. It appears you are not aware, also not aware of one other fact. And that is that the accused visited the dressing room before 4 p.m. as well. Is it not natural, then, to suppose that the accused killed the victim at this time? What? Nobody told me Mr. Wet had also gone visit there before 4 p.m. We were only discussing the time frame after 4 p.m., so I didn't think to mention it. But now that you have made the time period before 4 p.m. relevant... Uh-oh, I don't like where this is going. So you really do not know what your client was doing during that time frame, do you? Well, it was all very sudden, and, why did you wait until the very last second to contact me, Simon? Don't you give me that look. And just so you know, Bucky never told me he had visited the master before 4 p.m. either. This sort of thing is exactly why that prosecutor keeps calling us unprepared. The defense will stop squabbling this instant. Sorry, Your Honor. Prosecutor said, Marty, please continue. Thank you, Your Honor. Defense, you know of the soba-making implements in the dressing room, correct? Is he talking about the equipment for making soba noodles? You speak of the large bowl that is used to mix buckwheat flour and water, the long rolling pin, and the special knife that is used to cut the dough into noodles. I want soba now, guys. Is there a good soba place nearby? Precisely. These tools all came from the accused's soba shop. You mean they didn't belong to Master Tornado? Mr. Wet had visited the dressing room to give the victim a soba-making lesson, and that visit was before 4 p.m. I'm afraid that after the accused kneaded the dough and made those noodles... he committed the act of murder. Soba's not popular in America right now. The big thing is... Pho? Pho? Is that how you say that? I want soba. Not that. But wait, that doesn't add up. If Mr. Wet killed the victim before 4 p.m., why would he return to that room at a later time? Close enough. Oh. Wet soba, you're kit and caboodle when it comes to noodles. Oh my. Hiya, Ms. Chickadee. Hey, Simey. The reason I went back is cause Master Tornado ordered uncooked noodles. Oh. But Mr. Wet. This guy. Yesterday, I brought noodle-making tools to the dressing room at around 2 p.m. That's when Master Tornado ordered uncooked soba's noodles and stock up on. Uncooked noodles to stock up on? Yes, ma'am. Master Tornado kept a supply of soba noodles for my shop in his fridge. He only had one serving left, so I went back to my shop to get some more. Hick! One serving of noodles in the fridge? But I thought the fridge was practically empty. Anyway, the whereabouts of the missing noodles isn't all that important now. You ran into me and Garu when you came back to deliver the uncooked soba, correct? That's right, Simey. I made time out of my busy day to deliver him the noodles. And you know what? He ignored me when I called him from the inner doorway. He just kept mumbling Rakugo lines for ages, so I got mad and went back to my soba shop. Ah, so that's why you got mad. If what he's saying is true, then there's no way he could be the murderer. I swear I'm telling the truth, Miss Chicken. Bailiff, quick! Get this man to the infirmary! Well, I dare say he's quite the handful. Your Honor, please accept the statements Miss Wet just now into evidence. I believe the accused's statement about going to the room at around 2 p.m. is true, for it falls within the victim's estimated time of death. That opens up the possibility that the crime was committed between 2 and 4 p.m. That's some critical information. Yes, Your Honor, but other than that one point, Mr. Wet's statements are dubious and without proof. Drunk soba man. He drunk and soba. But they are the words of the defendant himself. Simon, back me up here. He has a point. If I were the prosecutor, I wouldn't accept them either.
While I understand the defense's feelings on the matter, this court is unable to accept anything other than the time the defendant made his visit. Now what do I do?
I trust you have no further objections, defense. At last the time has come to send the soul of the victim onward to the Twilight Realm.
Silence!
Who are you yammering on about, Prosecutor Sadmonk? We still have something that we need to question Owendo about. We do? Like what? Well, don't just stand there. But we don't have any evidence left to present. Have you forgotten already? Isn't there still a hidden witness you have yet to question? A hidden witness? Oh, that's right. Your Honor, there's still one more issue we haven't finished discussing yet.
Oh, and what is this bit of unfinished business?
We haven't finished discussing this issue related to Owendo.
Owen!
We still have to discuss the possibility of a fourth personality, the one named Owen.
You're suggesting that this fourth personality of Owendo's might be the true culprit?
Jeez, not this again. I told you we don't know anything about this Owen. Look, Owendo, I know you don't have any motive to kill your master, but
this Owen may have one for all we know.
Come clean now, Owendo. You've got another personality stashed away, haven't you?
Please tell us everything you know about Owen.
That's enough. The witness has already stated that he knows not of any Owen character.
Bravo, you tell him, Mr. Prosecutor. Hee hee.
Hey, Patches. If you claim you don't know Owen when you really do, that's tantamount to perjury. If you want to exercise your right to remain silent, however, well, that's a different story.
Do not listen to the depraved prosecutor, witness. You will be tainted with his evil.
Do you have any idea how dark and cold a prison cell is?
I exercise my right to remain silent.
What's this now? Changing horses in midstream, are you?
Shut up. I will remain silent, and that's it.
Patches, you fool. You stay out of this.
Ha ha ha.
Patches is not the brightest bulb in the box you call a noggin, is he? The fact that he switches from I don't know to any Owen to I will remain silent is proof that he does know about Owen.
There it is again. Simon's formidable psychological manipulation tactic. I'm sure glad he's on my side today.
Objection!
You dirty, despicable, depraved prosecutor. You were leading the witness. Witness, there is no need for you to submit yourself to the defense's questioning.
Objection!
Your Honor, Owendo is definitely hiding something. Please allow me to question this witness about the existence of Owen. I suppose only this witness can confirm or deny the existence of Owen for us. Very well, I will allow the defense to proceed.
Grrr, Palkunka.
I've never met any personality named Owen.
Patches was just blurting out nonsense in a panic.
We're always aware, so we'd definitely notice if a personality like that showed up.
How dare you treat me like a criminal based on mere conjecture?
Wow, how am I supposed to deal with the testimony of 3 personalities?
Unless you can prove the existence of Owen here, it's all over. You best screw your courage to the sticking place and attack their testimony head on.
Alright, I will. Stop piling the pressure on me. I have to draw out some info. Anything to draw Owen out into the open.
Let's see if we can get to Owen today. At least you see what he looks like.
We gotta go to the third statement, okay? You definitely not notice if a personality like that showed up. Had to send it on the FB.
Okay, no problem.
But what if for some reason you 3 were unconscious at the time of the incident? If the 3 of you weren't alert and aware, what would happen? What would happen? I'm not even sure what you mean. I mean, you 3 share the same memories, right? But what if Owen is different? What if he has memories separate from yours? Maybe Owen emerges when the 3 of you are unaware or unconscious.
Instead of speaking as if this fourth personality is a foregone conclusion, I suggest you prove his existence first. Well, we've already seen 3 personalities. A fourth wouldn't be a stretch. You dishonor the victim in this court by jumping to such conclusions without proof. Have you ever heard these old sayings, Prosecutor? Said Marty. Happens twice will happen thrice. If you see one, there are likely 30 in your home. I'm basing my theory on such premises. Comparing us to cockroaches? Do we bug you that much, girlie? But how do you intend to prove it? How will you prove that all 3 personalities become unconscious, as you say? Unless you can do that, all of this talk is merely empty speculation. Well, Don't be so timid. If you don't have it, then find it. Look for something that could render Uendo and the others unconscious. Simon's right. I can't back down now. For my client, Mr. Wet, I have to. Wait, Mr. Wet? Let me rush? Maybe if I were a lump of regular flour dough for udon noodles, but I'm fresh like my soba, and you don't let soba dough rush. It's all about the 3 freshes. Grind the buckwheat seeds fresh, cut the dough, and boil the noodles fresh. Alright. It might be a while, actually, so he's blacked out. Mr. Wet, failing unconscious? Wait a minute, I think I've got it. Miss Sykes, do you have proof to back up your theory? Yes. Yes, Your Honor, I do. The proof is right here in this crime photo. It is? In that case, please point out what supports your theory. This, most likely, is what caused Uendo to lose consciousness. It's the drunk. This is probably what made Uendo lose consciousness. Ah yes, the sake. And isn't it just like Master Tornado to pick up a fine brand like Camel? Sake? Oh, you mean rice wine. Oh please, don't call it rice wine. That's so unsophisticated. It's not even wine. Silly girl. I must agree. Do you need to become more cultured, Athena? Tomato. It's made of rice and people get drunk from drinking it, right? It's called sake. End of story. Fine, sake it is then. Ay, caramba, everybody's so touchy about these things. I recall Master Tornado would often have a drink or 2 before performing. He said it made him more eloquent. Drinking too much of the stuff can make one lose consciousness, though, of course. And look, there were 2 glasses on the table. Uendo, I believe your master offered you some sake. And then, you must have drank too much and passed out. That's when your 4th personality, Owen, emerged. Poof. I think this personality is female, by the way. I don't know if that's a thing with personalities, but I believe this particular one is a girl. Strange, I know. I drink sake. Oh, that's a good one. We have a real sweet tooth, you see, so yes, we did accept a sugary red bean bun. But since we really dislike sake, we said no, thank you to that. Believe it or not, we're real weak when it comes to booze. Hee hee. That 3rd personality is a woman, yes. I could tell by the ding 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 of the words. Even a tiny drop can knock us right out. So you see, I had a sweet manju bun, but I didn't drink any sake. What? But that can't be right. The defense demands that the glasses be examined right away. You amateur, did you really think I had not already done so? Your foolishness is beyond the pale. Don't tell me. There were no traces of the witness having touched either of the glasses, naturally. Right, of course. Miss Sykes, would you like the witness's statement added to his testimony? Yes, please, Your Honor. Very well. In fact, she's a courtesan, a high-class prostitute. Oh no. Alright, give me a second.
Objection!
This shows what most likely made Owendo lose consciousness. But, as what the thing says, I'm going to say that I will be resting, do not disturb. I'm gonna call it here for today, guys. We'll finish this case next time. It's, like I said, a short case. It's really fun, though. I kind of like this case. But yep, hope you're enjoying it. More will be in 2 days. Tomorrow will be more Skyrim. So look forward to that. You all have a lovely night, and I will see all of you on the tomorrows. Bye-bye!